tick, tick, tick on the wall. Maybe you could have it all. Get down on your knees and pray. Maybe she will let you stay. Good enough if you play the game. Here comes the music, don't resist. Gotta keep on moving. Here comes the music, just give in. Gotta keep on moving.
Yeah, I've blocked time.com to make sure that they'll make sure that I don't get fucking.
We can't give time.com more free publicity.
Fine, I'll bleep it out and replace it with Elmo.
Little known time.com. But yeah, so Patrick, you're talking about Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. No, I was saying that sounds fun and something like that would be very annoying to my mom. I don't know if I've told this story, but I was super into Barney as a kid, and
so was I.
And
I
so
think all children, but yeah, go on.
Yes, but it annoyed my mom to a degree where to get me to stop watching Barney, she just told me that Barney died.
Oh my god.
Holy shit.
And so she's
that's
like,
cold as fuck.
Yeah,
dude.
Barney's in heaven now, and so I just stopped watching Barney.
That's what a wild way to teach children about the concept of death.
Yeah, that was my first
most
introduction.
Most parents go out of their way to, like, if if their pet dies, they're like, oh, our dog went to go live on a ranch or something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas your parents like, Barney fucking kicked it. He's
Yeah.
dead.
Barney got shot in the head.
Barney didn't die. He was murdered.
He was murdered. But because of too many kids like you, someone took Barney out behind the shed and fucking shot him.
Oh my god.
Barney died in a gang-related
incident. Okay, well, here's...
So yeah, that was my first experience, I guess, with the concept of death as a child, was the tragic, well-known death of Barney. We all knew about that, right?
Yeah,
that
obviously. It was
a
in the
lived
news.
experience.
No, I was there for that. And I was also there for this, which is A Court of Bros and Broses. This is a podcast where three straight men are on a maiden voyage through Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses. Maybe we try to learn something along the way. I am Niravan, I am your host, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Patrick and Joe.
Hi, I'm Patrick, and I was not present for the Barney death.
I am Joe. I guess I was present for the Barney death, and I'm still reeling from it today in therapy.
Gonna clip that out and just show that to the judge. So I thought that this would be fun. I made a quick little game for us to start off on today.
Fun. A prepared open.
Yeah, so I thought that might be cool, because I used to do that on my old podcast. I would prepare things, which was weird.
That's crazy. Also, we did our intro 2 minutes into this podcast, which I think is a record.
That might have been, actually. That's crazy. Okay,
Wait,
so...
you can't say we used to prepare things. We listened to hours of a book. This whole podcast is preparation.
That's fair.
I guess it's pretty loose preparation though. We just listen to a book and then show up to record this and have to reference a written summary online because we all forgot everything we listened to 2 days ago.
Yeah, it's because as I see things, they leak out of my ears. Okay, so here's the game, which is that I've gone back through the last 3 years, so 2022, 23, and 2024, and I've gathered up the three highest selling romantasy books of each of those years. But I've replaced one of them with a fake one I created. So there will be 3 rounds of this. And I'm just going to
I thought this was relevant to the chapters we listened to. This is just a random thing.
It's romantasy. It's still relevant. So
yeah, no, I thought it was specifically relevant to the content in these 7 chapters we listened to. But
we're going to talk about these chapters for 2 fucking hours. Let's chill out for a second. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read 3 titles to you. This is 2022. You're going to tell me, both of you put in a guess for which one is the fake one out of these 3.
Okay.
Misted and Night, Sanctum, The Undertaking of Heart and Beauty, The Serpent of Wings and Night.
The Serpent of Wings and Night.
Undertaking of Heart and Beauty.
You fucking fools. Those were the 2 real ones.
Shit.
The colon seemed too...
I know, dude. I felt so good about that.
And The Serpent of Wings and Night is the exact naming convention of the ACOTAR book, so I thought it was...
you're going to see a lot of those coming.
Yeah, so actually on Dropout TV, they have a whole, what is it? God, what is it? Their show
Yeah,
Actually
I've seen that.
Made a whole bit about the naming conventions of all fantasy books being the blank of blank or the blank of a blank and blank. Like it is just a very common, not even romantasy, just fantasy books in general.
I guess that is.
Okay.
It's just this, everybody loves the blank of a blank.
They do.
Lord of the Rings, the Two of the Towers.
The Two of the Towers, the Return King. All right, so next year, The Dark Heart of the Moon, Assistant to the Villain, The Ashes and Star-Cursed King.
Okay,
man.
so Assistant to the Villain is real.
Okay, I'll read it again. The Dark Heart of the Moon, Assistant to the Villain, The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King.
Dark Heart of the Moon. That's too concise.
No, Ashes is the fake one.
All right, Patrick, you get a point. The Dark Heart of the Moon was mine.
Fuck yeah, baby.
It sounded too fake again. I guess Nirav isn't as creative as I thought he was.
What? Or am I so creative I looped around and...
That's a good point.
Anticipated
Because also,
this.
that you just took the Transformers Dark of the Moon and just made it a... I was like, this sounds like... I was like, no way. I can't be this Transformers pilled, or this is where...
Yeah, okay, so the next one is Revenge of the Fallen Guy.
Revenge? Wait.
Revenge of the Fallen Guy. Okay, and then the last round here. The Master of Arrow and Flame, Born of Blood and Ash, Tempest of Wrath and Vengeance.
Shit, those are all.
God damn it!
That's
I'll read them
you just named
again.
a trilogy.
Yeah, that's just... Yeah.
The Master of Arrow and Flame, Born of Blood and Ash, Tempest of Wrath and Vengeance.
Born of Blood and Wrath. No, Tempest.
The Arrow one.
All right, Joe, you get a point. The Master of Arrow and Flame was mine.
Yes.
So we tied
Because it's
this
not...
up.
Because Arrow's not a concept. Arrow's a very distinct noun.
That's what I was. That's why I was hoping you would be like, "Oh, that's so artistic. Only a real writer could have done it." Okay. Well, I thought this would be interesting because I wanted to see. Oh, by the way, I did exclude the ACOTAR books from this, obviously, but
I still wouldn't... I probably would have still fucked those up.
there were some of the other Sarah J. Maas books specifically were like the Iron Flame, or not Iron Flame. That was a dragon one. The Dragon Fucker book. What's that called? Fourth Wing.
Oh.
I know some of her Throne of Glass series was also in there, but anyway. So yeah, I just thought that might be fun. See, I thought we would do something that our listeners might enjoy instead of something that we enjoy, real quickly.
Why would we do that?
Okay, let's jump into these chapters. This is a fucking hefty chunk here, so...
Yeah, it's a big... So this book, as I'm sure everyone listening is aware, it's a lot longer than the previous book, and we were kind of anxious about that. So we were like, maybe we'll do slightly longer chunks this time, and we may have bit off more than we can chew. We'll see. We're doing chapters 11 through 17, and a lot happens.
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump in. We first of all, I want to say up front, and I'll talk about the end. Excellent pacing. Thank you so much, Sarah, for not dragging this shit out. I love it. I love.
Yeah,
the
like we could have gotten 7 straight chapters of Lucian and Feyre trudging
in the
through
Autumn
the Autumn
Court. Yes, that is exactly what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I
really
think
thought
so.
we were gonna do. I honestly thought part 2 was gonna be their odyssey through.
Everything. I thought like it was gonna be part 2, the
Christopher
Odyssey,
Nolan's
and
Odyssey. Yeah.
yeah, and then part 3 they get back to the Night Court. So I was really kind of dreading this part, but it was she understands what the audience wants. Again, in book 2, they go back to the human world and we're like, this sucks. There's no fucking magic here. Let's fuck off and get back to the fairy world. Same shit here. We do what we need to do. We get back to the Night Court.
I think it's good that I think our expectations for what we expect to happen, like 7 chapters of them trudging through the Autumn Court, is based on just all like reading other long bloated fantasy books. Like, as much as I love Song of Ice and Fire, Song of Ice and Fire is is extremely long and drawn out. I mean, Nirav's not here, but the fucking Stormlight Archives. The Stormlight Archives, as much as I enjoy, I love Brandon Sanderson, the Stormlight Archives are super, super drawn out. There's like
I want to hear more. I want to
is,
hear more about the bridges they're carrying. How heavy are they, Patrick?
Yeah, or like I want to know more about how Kaladin's been trapped in this tower for 80% of a book. It's just... Whereas this one, I think,
what about the exact
written
recipe
by
of those
women.
jam tarts Shalon is making? I need to hear that.
I think it's
Anyway,
because this book is
yeah.
written by a woman for a primarily female audience who is showing up to this book for a very specific thing, she doesn't waste a lot of time most of the time. She's very much like, okay, I know what you're here for. Let's get through the stuff.
I think that has been true for the second and third book. I think the first book was almost entirely wasting time, so maybe we were thrown off a little bit.
That's a fair point.
But yeah, I would say the pacing in the second and third book has both been like good. Like
I think I need to stop. I need to just stop assuming it's gonna be the worst case scenario. I think I need to just accept.
Joe, you need to start doing that for like a lot of things in your life. Is the problem?
Who are you, my therapist and all of my friends? No. I think I need to just accept that book 2 has atoned for the sins of book 1, and that this, again, I think book 1 was written by a different person, and I think we are now, Sarah J. Maas is writing book 2 and book 3.
I like that.
Okay, so you no longer think that Sarah J. Maas wrote book 1 and books 2 and 3 are written by a different author.
I think she had a ghostwriter write the first book who was bad at writing. Okay, let's get into this though. So Feyre and Lucien have just fucked off to the Autumn Court. They just killed the twin, or rather, Feyre just killed the twins' dad. Kenneth Branagh.
No, Lucien killed one of them. Lucien killed one of them.
Lucien killed Kenneth Branagh to teach Feyre about the concept of death. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So yeah, Lucien did help. Yeah. Okay. So they both fought.
Lucien did a lot.
Yeah. Sorry.
He fully beheaded her.
That's true. I forgot the beheading part. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, they defeated the twins, and were like, we gotta run, and they took one of these gates that leads them to the Autumn Court with the aim of getting far enough north that Rhys and the others can like hear them and come get them, and they also have eaten the Fabane poison so that their powers are like shot and they will slowly come back basically. So
their powers, something like their powers are diminished. They're at the point now where both of them are like have zero powers. They can't do anything at all. Vera can't communicate through the bond. Like the bond has gone totally quiet, which means on the other side of the bond, Rhys is probably freaking the fuck out because the bond is kind of quiet and he's like feared the worst.
And later on in this chapter, or this whole Odyssey, I can't remember where it is, she makes this comment, but she had forgotten how much she had relied on her powers and how much it sucks not having powers. She's like, damn, this fucking blows.
I don't know anything about that.
Which is funny, because she's only had powers for like a year.
But she's God mode, though. Imagine going from a human to a god, and then having none of that again.
She hit the tilde key, opened the console commands, and toggled off God mode.
Yeah.
So in this chunk, we also finally start getting kind of like the Lucien Feyre confrontation we've been wanting. And it isn't even the full confrontation and explanation yet, because they're both in like absolute survival mode.
Yeah.
And they're like trying to be as quiet as possible. They're trying to just be as stealthy as possible. And then later on, they're just trying to survive. So we don't really get like the full conversation until they get back to the Night Court. But through this, we do get at least the first kind of like confrontation. So as they move into the Autumn Court, they move into like a cave that Lucien used to use to hide out in when he was camping and stuff. We were all, the three of us were like, ooh, who's his, because he said he knows a place. And the three of us were like, oh, who's the person they're going to stay with? It was, it's just a cave.
It was a cave, that person.
Yeah, he never had it. As we find out, he has zero friend. Like, we were, like, Patrick, you were entirely right about his motives for sticking in the Spring Court. As we find out, he has zero friends in the entirety of Prythian.
Yeah.
No one.
No one likes him at fucking all. So he's just like, yeah, I have a cave. This is my only other.
Yeah, this is my best friend cave.
Yeah, there's all these. There's like a rock sculpture made with like a smiley face.
There's a bunch of rocks all sitting with like little faces drawn on them, and like Lucien introduces Feyre to all his friends.
These are my friends.
Yes. Lucien, why does that one have a hole in it? Oh, that's my girlfriend.
It's like he like turns around. He's like, don't worry about it. Okay, so
it's okay, baby. Don't be embarrassed by her.
So, yeah, she's like, hey, what? So, basically, they hunker down in this cave, and she turns to Lucien, and she's like, hey, what the fuck? And so, she does ask, like, why, okay, because Lucien's obviously like, I knew something was, like, wrong. I knew that, like, you were faking this, which, I mean, we've seen lots of hints at, obviously, but And
but
she's
he
like,
even knew it as early as when she made the big light appear in Hybern to make it like when she was doing her whole fake like big light and dispelling magic thing that happened in Hybern to make a big show of like the bond being broken or whatever. Lucian was like, I have friends in the Dawn Court. I know what their powers are. It's not that.
oh shit.
Yeah, he's like, I know that they can just make light and like do like they can make light, and also that whatever you were doing something else. Like I didn't know what it was, but you were clearly casting a spell of some sort with the Dawn Court's powers.
Yeah, so basically she's like, okay, well, if you knew that, why didn't you tell Tamlin? And he's like, well, what would be better if I did, basically. like, and also there's the
kick a guy while he's down, basically.
Yeah, and then secondly, like if you're doing something and I sell you out, then like I know like you can make it so I never ever get to see Elaine again, which is again the and I like what Feyre says here, because it is the same thing that I said last week, which is that like
we've been saying it since the end of the last book. We've been saying like Lucian's gonna have some bullshit redemption arc just driven by the fact that all he cares about is seeing this woman he's never met in his life.
I don't think but what I'm saying is I don't think it'll stop there, because the book through Feyre like acknowledges that doesn't count as a redemption arc. Like Feyre is here as like you're only doing the right thing now because you're trying to get back something or someone you think that you're owed. Like you're not like being a good person. She says not in so many words, but like that does give me confidence that like Lucian is going to do something else more as the book goes on to atone for all the shit that he's done. I think
it's the classic case of you have a character, or also in life too, you can have somebody do something for reasons that are self-interested, but then as you do those things for self-interested reasons, you see the positive impact, or you start to learn things about yourself and about life that then change your motivations throughout it and cause you to have a real character arc. Like, which is what as we do kind of see later, he's starting that journey a little bit. But I think the book is acknowledging you're not yet really like you're starting there, but you're not great yet. But I think that's the kind of classic entry point of you're doing good things for the wrong reasons, but you're at least doing good things, and you can probably start changing from there.
It's like that romance trope where like a guy pretends to fall in love with a girl for a show, and then eventually
it's like, was
ends
any
up
of it
falling in
real?
love with her.
Yeah.
It
it's
started off
gross.
fake, but now it's real. I love you for real now.
Yeah, I know I lied to you for, a year about who I was, but I am now that person that I pretended to be. I think this will be less gross and I think more well-deserved and earned, but it is going to, I think we're going to start from there. But yeah, it's at least the book acknowledging, hey, you still suck right now.
Yeah. I like that the book does that, because it gives me confidence that Lucian's got a lot more like character arc to come.
So they make it through the entire Autumn Court seemingly with no conflict, and I was kind of like, this is boring. This is too boring.
Before that, though, he does ask, okay, you did all of this. What was your plan with Tamlin? Were you going to just disembowel him before? It's like, oh yeah, I thought about it, but letting his court collapse around him and fucking with him that way seemed like a much better punishment. And also, how am I going to get any allies if I just brutally murder Tamlin? It's not realistic. I would love to, but this was the more sensible, logical way to get my revenge.
Yeah.
And then Lucian points out, which we'll circle back around later, that now that he has seen her fire powers, that his father will do, and this is, I guess, probably also a motivation for other High Lords, not just his father, but his father is going to do anything he can to kill her, because I guess power seems like the transaction, like the resurrection that occurred with her is a zero-sum game, where I guess they lost some of their power, the High Lords, or at least they think they do, because his father would kill her if he thought killing her would get his power back. Whether it actually took his power and he's diminished because of it, or just for the status of somebody else not in his bloodline having the power is a problem. It's not fully explained yet, but he would kill her to make sure that she doesn't have his power. and to get it back.
It's the physics concept of conservation of energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can be maintained.
Yes.
It's that with magic. Magic cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred from one place to the other. Which also actually works with when a High Lord dies, their power just transfers 1-to-1 to their child, or to their heir at least.
Yeah.
So I guess that makes sense that like in the world of magic, it like is a zero-sum game, as you said.
Yeah, I can see that. So yeah, they basically like sort of start to have it out, and more of that will happen later. But
yeah, and she's just like, hey, look, like we're both dying. We're in a cave.
Yeah.
Can we stop having this conversation? Because if we do, we're just gonna get found. So can we just shut the fuck up and go to sleep?
Yep. So yeah, Lucian kind of gives some of his backstory, and I need some like help on this one because I don't think I like fully absorbed like what happened to Jesminda. Did they tell us?
I think that was explained in book 2. That was his like the woman that he loved, who I think was a commoner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then when when his father found out that he loved her, they like just murdered her or something.
That was kind of what I got from it. Yeah. Okay. So he basically just like failed to protect her, and he put her in danger essentially, and so she was like the people's princess. We had a little bit of Princess Di thing going on. It seems.
I don't think she held any status. I think it was more representative of him letting down the non-royalty and nobility class by just like whether he actually could have done something or not didn't matter. It was just to them it was representative of, you know, when they were killing his love interest Jesminda, he fled and tried to hide with the commoners and, you know, quote unquote commoners, and they said, no, fuck off, you didn't protect one of us, we're not going to protect you. And then this explains that basically he's just like, yeah, you have no friends. Nobody likes you. Your family doesn't like you. Because of this, you lost any goodwill with the non-nobility class.
Yeah. So basically, Jesminda like ended up. He was fleeing his brothers like back in the day. Like none of the commoners would help him either. So basically, they're like, all right, let's hoof it, and then they.
Oh yeah. And so also the further backstory too on that is, so also because of that, there's a bounty on his head because obviously his dad fucking hates him. So that was the backstory of why if anybody sees him anywhere at all, they're just going to turn him in because everybody's doing very poorly currently in the spring court. So they're just going to, in the spring court. No, not spring court. Autumn court. So they'll just turn him in immediately because they have no kinship with him. But also when he was the youngest of 7 kids. So the reason we find out Lucian's actually very powerful, and very adept, because when he was the youngest of 7 kids, he was basically forgotten and was able to hunt, train, study, learn about the people of his court, and basically kind of engage in the stuff that would make him a very eligible and powerful High Lord if he ever managed to wipe out the rest of his brothers to become the only living heir. So Feyre obviously asks him, did you ever think about that? He says, no one's ever asked me that, but the bloodshed wouldn't have been worth it to me to do that. But that's why everybody really hates him, is because he became very powerful in his own right to have this genuine shot if he ever really wanted to try and take out his brothers, and became a threat.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think that like I think one of the main things they say also is that like because he's the last out of 7 of them, there's so many people he would have to kill to get to the throne. None of the other brothers really ever looked at him as like a threat, so they kind of like basically the whole court just kind of ignored him, which, like you said, like gave him time to like focus on the skills and stuff that he thought were important.
And the other brothers got
to his credit, he never cared about the throne anyways.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah,
he's like, this is not a kingdom I want to be the head of.
Yeah.
These people all suck.
Which, if I've ever like read a book or seen a movie before, guarantees me that he will be the High Lord of the Autumn Court at the end of the story now.
Oh yeah,
yeah, probably.
But yeah, so the big thing happens next, which is that they're heading up to the mountains near the Winter Court, and they get found by Lucian's brothers. Like, so these are two of his brothers.
So they get into the mountains like right at the border.
Three, okay.
Yeah, they do get into the mountains like right at the border. They're like almost into the Winter Court, and then they wake up the next morning with like Lucian's brother. Like Feyre wakes up with someone's hand over her mouth, and then sees that Lucian's being like. So I think Eris is like grabbing her, and then Lucian's two other brothers are grabbing him.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and I think the two other brothers more or less remain nameless. I think. I don't think we ever get a name. They're really not important, which I appreciate. It's just like we don't need a bunch of other names thrown in. Eris is the only one that matters, which is he's also the one that was betrothed to Mor.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So further adds to the complexity of the meeting between Mor and Lucian later.
Who's the one who I think, like, what did he do to Mor again? Like, obviously, like what did they do? Because I know Mor's family nailed the note to Mor and left her at the border, and then they, like, Eris and the other brothers, like, did something to Mor. I forgot.
I think they said. I think it was Eris after she went and slept with somebody. Went and slept with Cassian to, like, quote unquote, make herself ineligible as a bride. That's when they tortured her, and like I think it's when Eris turned her down and said like that she's your problem, or said that he didn't want to marry her, and that's when they like nailed the note in her and was like, she's your problem anyway. I think that's what it was.
I thought Eris, it was that she had sex with Cassian, and then her family nailed the note to her and dumped her on the Autumn Court border. And then the Autumn Court was like, we don't fucking want her. I can't remember exactly what they did. I'm sure someone will tell us.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah. I know that either way, Eris turned her down.
Right.
But it was more than just turning her down.
No, it was like he like left her there to die in some fashion or another.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eris did enough that Feyre, like, blood ran cold seeing that she wants to fucking murder this dude. Like,
yeah,
he obviously sucks anyways, but he did something to Mor that she was like, she wanted to kill him.
Yeah, he was brutal. There was something else. There was more backstory to it. I kind of forgot his role in it. I think
Yeah, but anyway, so Eris is there as well as the two other brothers, and they're like, "Uh-oh, we found you, Lucian. Why didn't you stop in to say hello to Father and me?" And so Feyre is starting to feel that it's been like a day and a half or something, so like she can start to feel her powers like returning. And
barely. Like she feels like an ember of her powers, no pun intended.
Nice.
Pun very intended. Don't lie.
Yeah, pun very intended, I guess, in this instance.
I love it. So basically she's like, let's get the fuck out of here, and she uses like some of her fire powers from the Autumn Court. And is able to kind of create a distraction enough that she and
Lucian... first we can't gloss over the fact that he says first like, well the rumor is that Lucian and Feyre have run off together cuckolding Tamlin. I was like, yay
from the cuck chair.
They said it. Yay.
Tamlin's throne has become a cuck chair.
Woo.
Yeah, but anyway.
I'm in my apartment alone. I'm like, yes,
woo.
We did it. We cucked Tamlin.
Yeah, so that
Tamlin is known as a cuck across the land.
the cuck for all kingdoms.
And then didn't she also find out in this moment that like Tamlin's entire court abandoned him? Maybe, or is that later she finds that out?
I think it's later.
That's later.
But, yeah. But it's like a whole thing. Yeah. So anyway, like we find out.
Oh wait. No. Our reviews from a bookworm answer our question on Eris. Eris is there, the man who abandoned Mor in the woods to die all those centuries ago.
Yeah.
So I guess they got the note, and he was just like, "I'm just gonna leave her mangled corpse with a nail through her chest. Just leave her here."
Nice. Real classy. So yeah, they basically Feyre is able to create like a burst of fire that is able to kind of like create a distraction long enough for them to like book it, and they kind of are trudging through the snow up a mountain, like running as fast as they can to try to get to the Autumn Court border.
Oh yeah, but this was also too in this little fight scene. So she does, she she does like a quick elbow bump into Eris's nose, uses her fire powers on the two other brothers, notably uses her fire powers in front of Autumn Court brothers, important plot point. But also she mentions that she helps boost Lucian's fire powers, which I didn't think I realized until this point that Lucian has fire powers.
Yeah, he does, and which I think that he just never was like allowed to or supposed to use. I don't know.
I guess he just doesn't have an opportunity to use it that often.
Yeah, maybe just.
But yeah, apparently he has some fire powers. I didn't realize she boosted his fire powers though.
Yeah, she did like an assist.
I thought it was that because she elbowed Eris in the face, and then Lucian, and then she did fire on them, and then she was creating a wall of fire, and she's like, okay, we need to escape, and she felt someone else, and she felt Eris's fire responding to her, fighting her.
Maybe I'm misremembering, but either way, I did in this chapter. When she mentioned Lucian using his powers, I was like, wait a minute, what? Lucian has fire? I was like, why have we not meant? Like,
I think you're right though. I think he just hasn't had like a big opportunity to do that yet.
Yeah,
I don't remember him using his fire powers at all.
I could have sworn that was mentioned here.
Either way, and another reason she feels like she has, and the reason she uses her fire powers as opposed to something else is because she says like specifically she feels like her fire powers are coming back before her other ones because she's in Autumn Court. Mm-hmm. She's in the Autumn Court, so she feels her fire powers rekindling before her other powers.
Yeah, so they like kind of book it out of the cave, and they're trying to escape from them. And they kind of like takes refuge in another cave, and then they actually start to have like an honest conversation. And Lucian is, I think, a little bit like finally like, what is Elaine like? Please tell me, which is interesting because it's taken a minute.
It's kind of this. It's also too this very near death conversation. It's one of those. They're both just shivering, they're freezing cold, they both barely have any powers, there's no wood to start a fire, even though they could start a fire if they had the materials, they don't have one. It's just this very much a let's just talk about some, like Feyre doesn't even want to talk about Elaine, but it's just we have to talk about something or we're gonna die kind of situation is the way I kind of pictured this.
Yeah. So yeah, they're like, okay, let's talk. And so I do like that they have like what I feel is like kind of an honest conversation here. And you know, I like hearing this too because I feel like I don't know much about Elaine other than she's like quiet and scared a lot of the time. So I thought this was good. Like, you know, she's not just about that she's like really good at gardening and stuff, but like, you know, why she loves gardening, like what about it speaks to her, etc. And I feel like that was nice to get. But then we also get the bomb drop for Lucian, which I guess I didn't realize he didn't know, which was that Elaine is engaged to a human lord's son.
Fairy-hating human lord's son.
Yeah, fairy-hating. Mm-hmm. So I actually don't know why I thought this, but I guess I thought that Lucian knew that.
I mean, why would he? He hasn't really known Elaine.
Not just from her, but just from, I don't know, if he had been, like, investigating anything about her. That's probably common knowledge in the town or whatever, you know what I mean? But
in what town?
Not their town, like in the town they're from.
I don't think Lucian, the implication here is that Lucian would have had to go back to the human world to get people to talk about Elaine.
I guess so, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so he is very not prepared for that and is like, you know, especially the fact that like she's engaged to this guy who's like his entire, or rather, I think it's his dad's, like, entire life's mission is to, like, eradicate all fairies and everything like that. And so he kind of, like, gets quiet and, like, contemplative, and, you know, I think that he was, like, I think this is where he says, like, I need to see her once to, like, make sure and, like, find out if she's worth fighting fire. Yeah. A girl worth fighting.
And it's funny,
for.
Like, is it here or later on, when he's talking to Rhys later, that Lucian is like, oh, how did Rhys deal with it? His mate being engaged to someone else.
No, it was
that's right here.
Yeah.
Because that's...
And it's so funny. I'm like, dude, why do you keep referring to her as like, are you really comparing Rhys, like, Feyre being engaged to Tamlin and Rhys having to experience that, to Elaine, a person you still have never interacted with, being engaged to someone else just because she's your mate. Like, it drives me. This whole mate thing is so.
I agree, and
yeah.
I also I was about to say that like the whole like. I feel like the book knows that is the thing at this point. Like the mating bond thing is like, because I feel like it is trying to point out like retroactively almost that like all of the stuff Reese has done for Feyre was like not driven by this like magical bond outside of the realm of his like control and his decision making. Like he made conscious decisions to do these things because they were the right thing to do. Whereas like you can now I think she's just presenting Lucien as like a foil to that, where it's like. This mating bond thing is just a thing. Like, you know, it's not going to change your whole character or your whole person or whatever.
Yeah, because I think they've shown multiple different dynamics with the mating bond. You had Reese's parents, where it was the mating bond snapped into place, but it wasn't a loving relationship. They've shown, I think, probably the same thing with other, maybe even Lucien's parents mentioning that offhand, but they've shown that multiple times. They've shown that with Rhys, there was the mating bond with him and Feyre, but he was willing to let her have a loving relationship with somebody else because love can exist outside of the mating bond. So they have shown it as this magical, ethereal thing, but also that love doesn't necessarily follow the mating bond. So I think they've shown a good dynamic of it creating this almost like kind of almost this I don't know, the mating bond to me is almost like this almost like magical version or amped up magical version of sexual attraction, where it's this like you're very physically into this person, but love can exist outside of that. I don't know, it's kind of where you have like where they're like almost, especially when you look at like how they're portraying it with the male characters, where they get into this almost like pent up sexual aggression state after having anything related to do with the mating bond, or stereotypically pent up sexual aggression state. But I don't know, it kind of feels like they're portraying it that way, where it's like, oh, I'm horny for this person versus I'm not in love with this person, is kind of how the mating bond seems to me. I think we're also going to see later with Cassian and Nesta, as they show it, a relationship that's going to exist entirely outside of a mating bond.
I mean, we don't necessarily know that they don't have a mating bond between the two of them.
That's also, I'm also
because Cassian says like I can't. He says I can't keep away, and so like they might have a mating bond. It's just that we haven't been explicitly told that yet.
Yeah, because he was super into her even as a human, and that's where we've shown that mating bonds can exist somewhat in like between humans and fairies, if there's like this predeterminism that they're going to become a fairy later, because there's predeterminism with mating bonds. It's weird. I would like to know more about the mythology of all of this, but yeah, I don't know. I think we're going to get a weird dynamic of how mating bonds work later.
I think the mating bond has essentially been reduced to a plot device at this point. Like, I don't know that it really means anything in the context of like the lore relative to this thing. Like, it is a reason for these characters to like do X, Y, or Z thing. But like, it's interesting because I didn't like it in the last book when they like were talking about with Rhys and everything, but then like she sort of like has purposefully devalued it in this book, which is good, but then it also retroactively makes it like, why was this in the book then?
Well, I think it...
I mean, I don't think she's devaluing it as a whole concept. I think she is, to Joe's point earlier, trying to emphasize the fact that the value of the mating bond kind of depends on how it's treated.
Yeah, like, I guess that's true.
The way Rhys treats the mating bond is like, he's mated to this person, he loves this person, but because Rhys is a sane individual, and he actually cares about Feyre, genuinely cares about her, not cares about her because it's a mating bond and we have to be together. Rhys actually genuinely cares about Feyre. All he cares about is her happiness and that she is with whoever makes her happy, even if it ends up being Tamlin. Like, Rhys is the far end of the spectrum of, this is a good example of what the mating bond can be. And now we're seeing Lucien's end of the spectrum, where it's just like mating bond, mate.
Yeah,
and it's just like mindless and it has no value to it.
I think, Joe, you were probably right then, but I would probably word it as like, I think the mating bond is basically like a magical version of like infatuation. Like, you know what I mean? Where it's like...
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it like horny.
Yeah, I was using that loosely, but like it's this magical
like this
infatuation that goes almost
yeah.
to like, it's not lust in like a sexual way, but it is this like, it's something else over infatuation. But I do think the mating bond does seem to portray kind of an element of relationships of, it seems like it can either be viewed as a duty, a duty to a loving partner, child. Like either a duty to a loving partner, like Reese does, to your point, Patrick, of like the far end of here's the ideal mating bond scenario where it just means I love this person and will commit my life to their happiness, or a possessive element of we're mated, therefore I own them. And it seems like it's all about how these characters handle that. I don't know, that kind of seems how it's being portrayed a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
And I think for what it's worth, we're probably going to see Lucian's regard of the mating bond change over time.
100%. No.
Yeah. I think
I'm guessing it's just a thing where like Lucian's hurt. It could also be a thing where like Lucian has heard of the magic of a mating bond for all of his 500 years of existence, and he's never had a mate before. So as soon as he has a mate, maybe it's just like, oh shit, this is a mate. I gotta take this so seriously, and I gotta really, really fight for my mate, because that's what mates are supposed to do, right? And maybe it's just like maybe there's this stigma around mates as well, and he just like, oh my gosh, mate, I have to take this very seriously, and maybe he'll like, as he learns and he continues to grow, and like maybe he even meets Elaine and he understands this more and more, he's like, maybe I don't have to care about this that much. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe he goes to the duty end of it. Dude. But also, just to cap this off, but with Lucian, his last loving relationship ended in his family brutally murdering the woman he loved.
Yeah.
So that does... I do feel like with Lucian, we are projecting a lot of our own thoughts of not projecting, but we are inserting our own theories about his thoughts. But I would have to imagine that we would get a conversation later about that coloring his view of being possessive potentially. But he might overcome. He could be the foil to Tamlin of this bad thing happened. I learned to accept the anxiety of it versus the Tamlin. I crunched down on that anxiety and doubled down on it and became more possessive. And
also think about who Lucian's male influences in his life have been up to this entire point. It's been his toxic as fuck family, and then he eventually moves in.
When he said toxic as fuck family, a little like button appeared. Like he's like, I love this toxic as fuck family.
Yeah.
That's just the max screen effects. Yeah, so it's his toxic as fuck family on the one hand, for like the first half of his life or whatever. Yeah. And then it's toxic as fuck Tamlin on the other side of things. So like he's not really had a good male influence. And despite that, it seems like Lucian is an actually like decent guy considering the upbringing he had in both courts he grew up in. But all things considered, he's like, yeah, Tamlin does not have anything except for toxic examples of what relationships look like. So maybe him being in the Night Court would be a good thing, and he's going to see all these extremely healthy relationships and be like,
yeah.
Well, I mean, we
do get that later where he sees an extremely healthy friendship, and he's like terrified of like, I don't know how to react to this. There's no formal structure where I'm talked down to. Oh my god. Like, everybody's so nice to me, I'm going to fucking freak out.
It's pretty great. We should get back to the...
But in this cave, too, this is where he does have this rough conversation or accusation to Feyre where he accuses her of cheating on Tamlin a little bit, where he's like, when did it start with Reese? When did you know you were mates? He's like, was it under the mountain? You kissed under the mountain. She's like, I had no say in that. Like, I had just as much say in that as I did with the dancing. Like, stop accusing me of this. I didn't do anything with Reese physically for months until after...
after Tamlin like locked me in the house and all that shit, like
and kind of so we're kind of finally having this, both sides are we're seeing Lucian's end of this too. We are getting that perspective.
I appreciated this because I was like at first I was like a little aggravated at Lucian for prodding on this, but I think it did help me be like, oh, it definitely didn't look the way that it went to like him on that end, so I can see why he is thinking the way that he is and like is asking these questions. But like I again, this is one of those things that I'm glad they kind of get to and kind of get through and out of the way. Like, this is not going to drag on for another 5 chapters. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll when we get to it later, but he does actually, when confronted later with proper evidence, well, not proper, but with any amount of like evidence to the contrary, he's very reasonable about changing his stance and not just doubling down on, oh, she must have cheated. Lucian is a very rational character when he's not in his toxic bubble, to Patrick's point. When he finally gets just any amount of love and respect, he immediately starts to show signs of being a better character.
Dude, that's another thing. I don't think he's been around anyone who respects him in maybe ever, which is a big problem.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Anyway, so yeah, we got to keep moving. So they get through the border into the Winter Court. There's this big cool scene where they're running across the ice of a frozen lake, and then Eris and the other brothers.
But leading up to this, we don't have to talk about it too much, but like there's a couple days where they think they're going to die. They're they don't have powers. They're in these frozen caves. They have to huddle together for warmth in a cave, even though they're both pissed off at each other and both they're like, fuck it, that doesn't matter. We need to survive right now. So they huddle together for warmth, and like they both seem like they're going to die by the time they get to the point where they're going in the frozen area and they're crossing that frozen lake, they're like pretty beat up about how like cold it's
I was like pretty sure they were gonna have to like cut open a tauntaun and crawl inside. Because that's definitely the picture I was getting. But so they're running across the lake.
That is a Star Wars reference.
Sorry. Oh wow, Patrick, that's real sexist of you to assume that our audience doesn't know Star Wars references.
It's for our male audience.
Good save.
Okay.
Good save.
I'm bringing it back as a Star Wars reference because
I haven't seen any Star Wars media at all.
I know, so that's what because I remember in our conversations.
Jesus.
I think it was, I don't know, the first book or the second book, how we got comments on TikTok about, like, you guys should make a Star Wars podcast.
Yeah,
so
that was the first book.
That was more a reference to, we did a Star Wars reference.
Oh, wow, yeah, because there's no Star Wars podcasts out there. Nobody's talking about Star Wars.
I know.
Yeah. I think we should
Sorry
talk
to
about...
whoever left that comment, but it's a dumb comment.
Yeah, it was dumb. Okay, so,
you guys should talk about Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Okay. Frozen Lake battle. Lucian and Feyre are running across the ice, and then she can feel that the Winter Court, like, once she physically, more to what Patrick said earlier, she feels that, like, once she physically is entering, like, the Winter Court, she can start to feel, like, the Winter Court powers, like, enter her, which is, I think, like, wind, right?
No, it's ice.
It's ice. Ice and water are different?
Yep. We've talked about this. We had this whole chat last book how ice and water are 2 different powers. Water is the summer court, ice is the winter court.
Whatever. All right, so... Anyway,
don't try and fucking use water in the winter court.
No, it'll just freeze.
I mean, that's why her powers are so unique, because, like, the ice court, like, she can create water and then freeze it because she has the 2 of them together, whereas the summer and the winter court cannot do that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. I can't fight.
Look, honestly, I think there are too many courts where eventually you have to power-wise, you run out of things to do. You had to just separate those 2. I think is what it ultimately turned into. As far as
and they still ran out of elements to do shit with. There's no. Yeah. To be fair, there's also no earth like bending in this. As far
there's
as
no earth bending.
I don't think so.
Oh fuck.
No, yeah, there's not. Yeah. Well, that would have been too Avatar. I think that would have been like that would have just. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Too obvious. It wasn't. You're right. It was. This is really subtle. So. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, they start fighting these brothers because they appear in front of them. Feyre gets cut in the face by an arrow.
So Eris melting the ice in like the most sinister, fucked up psychopath way of just like, I'm just gonna let you just freeze to death because I'm a.
Oh yeah, he's having a good time. Eris is definitely.
Well, he specifically says too, because they're in the winter court and because water freezes like instantly here. I think is kind of what he alludes to. He's gonna melt the ice and then they'll fall into the water and then the ice will immediately refreeze on top of them because
they'll like drown and freeze simultaneously. Good shit. So they have this fight. I think does Lucian get shot or something, right? Too?
Doesn't he get? Feyre gets shot with an arrow.
Yeah.
They're running.
And slices her ear.
Yes.
They start so Eris starts melting the ice and they start running away from Eris and their brothers, and then the 2 other brothers are just firing bows and arrows. See, I think Eris is the only one with fire powers.
No, No, but also there are. I don't think it's mentioned here, but there were other Sentinels that popped up. There were not just the brothers. Like other Sentinels appear. Like this is like impossible odds. It is the two of them surrounded on a frozen lake with other. Yeah, there were. Patrick, you're looking at me like I'm crazy.
There are other like ice court, like winter court Sentinels. Sean?
I don't think it was winter court people. I think they were other autumn court. I think they brought Autumn Court like Sentinels with them.
Yeah,
was the idea.
Okay.
But at this point, when all these people are showing up, I'm like, here comes Cassian, and lo and behold.
Yeah. Well, this part is sick. It was
cool.
The reveal is great. Yeah. So basically, the build up to this is that Lucian's fighting with the two nameless brothers. Eris is Winnows right in front of Feyre, hits her across the face. She is just beaten at this point, and wraps over.
And she feels her powers coming back, but it's not like her powers are coming back slowly. It's not enough to fight back, though.
Yeah, he has a flame gag around her. Her wrists and ankles are bound with flames, and then just this shadow explosion happens in front of her, and she sees Cassian appear. Azriel appears next, and she has this realization that like she knew this had happened because Rhys had told her, but to physically see Cassian and Azriel be healed back to full health after being nearly shredded to bits with their wings.
Well, no, Azriel's wings were fine. Cassian's the one whose wings were totally shredded, and she's just like, "Oh, Cassian's here, and his wings are healed."
And she breaks down. She starts crying. She's the the emotional toll of these events, but also to see her friends coming to save her and that they're okay. Finally, get confirmation of this. She just starts crying.
I'll be real. I got kind of emotional in this. I didn't think these books would ever make me emotional. Really, like when we started this whole trilogy, I didn't think but like when they showed up and Cassian's okay and he's like himself, and I'm like, I was like, oh man. Our boy, he's back.
Yeah.
In this part, I got excited. No, because I was like, oh, the odds are so impossible. Like, the boys have to be coming in for a landing. And lo and behold, there they are.
Yeah. And then, so Cassian gives, Cassian tells Eris to drop her. And Feyre gets this burst of strength to, with finally having hope again that, there's something she can do here. Cassian gives her the look to, hey, do a quick shoulder bump to break free, and then I'm gonna fuck this guy up. So a big fight comes into play where Cassian and Azriel are just beating the absolute fucking shit out of everybody. Azriel's taking the two brothers. Cassian's just about to absolutely murder Eris. But
So, but also Lucian is fighting the two brothers too. It's not Lucian and Azriel are fighting the two brothers together. So
they're back to back.
But then Feyre, before Cassian can do the killing blow on Eris, she kind of realizes hey, this could be jeopardizing to the cause if this happens. So
Cassian, Cassian shoves his sword through Eris's gut.
Oh he super punches him. That's what he does. No, he Falcon punches him in the gut.
I thought his sword goes through his gut.
No, he punches him.
I don't think he stabbed him. I think you're right. No, I think he had him on the ground though, and he was ready to kill him though.
No, he punches him so hard he's coughing blood, and he just Falcon punches him.
Anyway, but regardless, he's got him basically in a place to kill him, and
then Feyre
hold on a second,
drops the fucking bomb. She's like, "You all deserve to die, but I'm gonna spare your lives." Because she takes off. She's like, "I've been glamoring this for a while now." Drops the glamour on her tattoos. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm the High Lady of the Night Court." And Eris's eyes start bugging out. He's like, "I have fucked up." There are no High Ladies. She's like, "There is now."
Yeah. Here we go.
He's like, "Oh no, I've committed a war crime." He's like, "Oh no, oh no, oh no."
Yeah. So I do.
Oh no.
Because we talked about Feyre getting to announce herself on her own terms and stuff. So I think this is pretty cool moment to do that. And I think other
Lucian
thing...
she says Lucian's shocked too. She says Lucian's also fuck. What?
Yeah, everybody's just jaw dropped, and then Cassian's just fucking just grinning ear to ear. He's just like, hell yeah,
classic.
Yeah.
So this is a real smart move from Feyre too, because now the story is not the High Lady of the Night Court came in here and like murdered my sons. It's that like she beat them to an inch of their life because of what they did, they were doing to her, and then spared them anyway. So that she has a lot. She definitely, the story that comes out of this is a lot better for her and their cause and everything.
Yeah, and this is crazy because it just shows what you're allowed to do in these courts where, even though she ran away from the Spring Court, she's still Tamlin's property, quote unquote, according to the broader rules of this society. You could have killed her. You could have done all the brutal shit he was going to do to her. And that was, they could have moved past that as a society. That was fine, which is crazy.
Yep. I mean, again, I think a pretty clear and obvious, not obvious, but just like, yeah, that is commentary on real fucking life, unfortunately. Like, yeah, 100%. So, okay, we get back to the Night Court with Cassian and Azrael and everybody, and Mors, they're waiting for them, and she obviously doesn't... She reacts a little bit strangely, of course, to Lucian, and she's like, oh, Lucian Van Sarah, we learned his last name, and he's like, I like, kind of forsook my last name when my father, like, tried to kill me, so I don't really use that anymore. And I thought that was kind of funny that, like, because I think we made a joke about, like, does Feyre have a last name? And we, like, didn't find it out for a whole book.
I don't think she bothered giving anyone last names. And there's another thing about this book that I appreciate is that we don't really get that much information
that we don't
critical.
Like need. Yeah, I agree with you. I was about to say that. Yeah. No, and
yeah,
it's not a bunch of
brothers
random...
don't have names. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. One of the big rules of like story writing that like I think a lot of people forget to follow is like give the audience the information they need when they need it. So like,
which again, I love Brandon Sanderson, and not to throw shade, but that dude does not fucking abide by that. He gives you.
It's like, how many proper nouns can I fit into one paragraph?
It's crazy how much useless information he drops for the sake of world building, which I guess is not like useless information, but it's just like
it's not going to be relevant till a lot later is the problem. Like, yes, give them the information they need when they need it.
He has put so much thought into the world of the Stormlight Archives, which, good for him, it's great. But the amount of just shit he drops on you, which is why I like Mistborn better than that, because Mistborn is so much more concise, and you learn the information as you
It's such a tight story. Definitely one of my favorite books ever, by the way. Hard recommend for Mistborn. Okay.
It's so good.
So
so what happened was Rhys had picked up on the bond kind of minutes ago. So I guess finally Feyre's powers had returned enough for the bond to kind of click back.
Which is why Cassian and Azrael knew to show up.
Yeah, so he sent them, because they were closer, so they were able to get in there and help.
Yeah, which I figured, because, like, I was like, if Rhys had shown up, I do think he probably would have just killed all these people pretty instantly.
I think Rhys is probably smart enough, like Feyre, to understand the importance of, like, keeping people alive for the sake of a vibrant world.
I don't know, though, because it would have been so easy for him to do, is what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
I think Rhys probably would have not killed them, but I think he would have like held all three of their, like everyone's minds in his little tiny paws, and he would have made them piss themselves for fear.
Yeah, I think he would have paralyzed or crippled them.
Yeah, it starts spreading the rumor that Eris loves like the wet worm feeling of pissing his pants, so he does it on purpose.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think he would have broken every bone. Yeah, he would have done what Feyre did to Ianthe, but just on a insane level, just of epic purport. He would have had them like each break each other's bones or something. He would have done some fucked up shit.
It's like awesome.
I think he would have been he would have had shown just enough restraint to not make enemies of the Autumn Court when they're trying to make allies right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I just think. I mean, I get why he's not there, though, just power dynamic-wise, because it really isn't much of a fight, right, when he shows up. So it's like... but yeah, I like how that was done, and of course we do find out that he was off on, like, actually, like, important business and shit like that. So,
and these chapters, too, just show us how much Lucian's family fucking hates him. They hunted him, like, across... presumably hundreds of miles.
They basically crossed state lines to hunt him.
Yeah,
is what happened.
No, international lines. They went into
yeah, that's true.
They went international.
They went into Canada to hunt him.
Yeah.
The
Great White North.
Yeah, that's it. So they basically they get back to the night court. There's a little bit of like, oh shit, like what happened, and recounting that.
Lucian, also they get there and Lucian sees Amryn. He's like,
yeah, he bows to her.
And
he's
he
like,
bows to Amryn like,
it's like, oh my queen,
hello.
So
Lucian isn't necessarily like Lucian is just like Amryn to him is someone he grew up hearing fairy tales about.
Yeah.
I think he says like, oh, Amryn is the person we heard like our parents would use stories of Amryn to make us brush our teeth and shit like that. Like,
like
if you don't do what I say, Amryn's
it's kind of like
when
Joe's mom would tell him that like if he didn't brush his teeth, Barney would die at gunpoint.
Can you imagine? Like, that's the context of Barney dying. She always would say, if you don't do this thing, Barney's gonna die. And one day, Joe took it too far. Like, Joe, you didn't listen to me. Now Barney's fucking dead.
That's why I don't brush my teeth. He can only die once.
That's a good point.
Backfired, Mom.
Okay, so the we get so basically they're all talking and exchanging information. Lucian is of course at first pretty like agitated of like what's going on, what's like where like obviously is like, oh wait. He's smart enough to just not say anything for a minute though, and Reese comes in and he's like, all right, Feyre and I are gonna go bone. Everyone else get the fuck out of here. And so
I don't actually know where Lucian goes during this, because we find out that Lucian didn't go into the city.
I think he's just.
So where did he go?
I think he's just in the living room, like chilling, like watching.
He's just got
TV.
His fingers crossed in his lap, just like.
No, I think everyone fully leaves the house. Like I think they take Lucian somewhere, but I just don't know where they take him.
It doesn't matter. It's just
we see him later, and he's still in his dirty clothes. So like he didn't. They didn't take a bath or anything.
Well, I think it's because the other Night Court people don't know what they're supposed to do with Lucian, right? Because Reese hasn't told
I like
them.
to think that they were basically in a room that looked like a dentist's like waiting lobby, and it was just him sitting across from Cassian with like a big ass great axe or something. And Cassian's
but there's like magazines on a table, and there's like an aquarium that's like not very well kept up.
I can't remember if it's here or when they first get Lucian and Feyre in the Winter Court, but I also remember someone being like, what do we do with him? Thinking originally that he was like one of the, like, I think someone's like, oh, why is he here? Thinking that he was one of the bad guys, and then like, I think someone was like, oh no, Lucian helped us. And then they look at the blood, because Lucian's covered in blood, and they realize the blood on Lucian's not his blood, it's the blood of his brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
and
like,
he had fought
so
with...
like,
yeah, there's a brief explanation of like, hey, look, Cassian and Az saw him fighting. Feyre's like, hey, he's fine. There's enough of a, hey, this is fine. Let me and Reese go bone for a second. Where like we can just move past this until we get a further explanation later. There's enough. Yeah. It's not fully explained. It was messy, but it's like, hey, it's time to fuck now.
Yeah, it's very hand wavy. Like, listen, we've gone this whole book without a sex scene yet. We gotta have a sex scene.
Yeah,
we gotta bone. It has to happen. And then I listened to this part while I was at my desk at work, and I've never been more uncomfortable in my fucking life.
Nice. I was walking a dog while I was listening to this, and I was just like glancing at people on the street as I walked by them, also walking their dogs, just nodding. It's like, and then I pounded her good.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah. So I guess.
Desk, and my boss was on one side of me, my other coworker, because we have an open seating. I don't have a cubicle. Like, we have an open seating plan, so my coworkers are feet away from me. I'm like turning my volume down with my head on my desk. I'm like, oh god, this is such a weird thing to listen to at my desk. I cannot. This is so horrible.
Yeah, but then you accidentally click the button that turned the Bluetooth off and like cranked the volume all the way up.
But yeah, this is. I was telling Nirav, and we'll talk about like because the whole time they're having during foreplay, they're having a conversation about the events.
I thought this was nice.
Where Reese has been, so we'll talk about that in a second. But I will say this whole sex scene was very well done. Like the build up, all of it, very well written, very well done. 10 out of 10, no notes. But it was like 20 minutes long to a point where I told Nirav like we were lied to. We know that this is not a fairy smut series. It was a bait and switch, but we're invested. But at a certain point through the sex scene, I was like, okay, can we get back to the
I literally
can we
like
move on?
5 minutes into it, I was
Reese,
like, can we just get back to the political thriller?
Yeah, like just blow your load, dude. Let's just move on.
Well, because the reason, I mean, I think normally, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but in this specific instance, there's been so much buildup of this.
Yeah, and I need to find out what's gonna happen with like Lucian and the Night Court and shit.
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
I'm like, okay, yes, like we as the audience are being fucking like
we're being edged. We're being edged while Reese gets his rocks off. Fuck off.
Yeah, it wasn't like if this was the capstone to, or like capping off a very happy reunion, this would be I could, 20 minutes of this would be great, but they just got off a very intense situation. I want to see Reese's true non-sexy reaction to all of the events of the book that have happened, and they just put the book on halt to fuck. I'm like, no, this is not the time for this.
So Farah is like covered in dirt and she goes to take a bath, and we find out the bath is too small for 2 people, so Reese just watches her bathe multiple times. But then also like Reese, before Farah even bathes, Reese like snaps his finger and clears all the dirt off of her. So it's kind of just like a bath to care to like kind of just like to ground her, like a relaxing bath.
No, it was a bath to watch her get naked. It was a sexy thing. And it was good.
It was a sexy thing,
good,
yes,
yeah.
but also
Sorry,
like she did a bath. Like you talk to a woman who's been through hell. A bath is great to kind of relax her and get her to, chill out a little bit.
Well, yeah, but she was also taking the bath in a sexy way. She specifically talked about that. It was a sexy bath.
Yeah, she was like, I'm taking a bath like a sexy lady.
Yeah, because the whole time she didn't want to take the bath. She wanted to fuck, and she was being forced to take the bath.
Right. And also it helps that every single time she did something in the bath, Sarah added sexily afterwards. So
yes,
like,
that was helpful for me.
Sexily.
So I could like picture
she shampooed her hair sexily.
Actually, yeah, she boobed boobily right into the bathtub, and so anyway, we kind of move through this, and then like we said, there's like this foreplay. We do some exposition during it, but essentially like we move through the sex scene and everything, and we learn about sisters are staying.
Can you hold on,
dude?
Nero, our listeners are going to be furious.
You can't just yada this.
I'm not.
This is the entire plot.
I was about to say while this is happening, while this is building up, we learn about Feyre's sisters who are at the House of Wind. Reese basically is like they are. He very ominously is like they are alive, and he's like, and I'm like okay. And
well, I mean, but we understand that later. Like,
I understand why he was saying that.
They're not happy about it.
Not mentally well, yeah. But and then we learn about like Reese was off doing some spy work, etc. He was investigating the.
You are yada-yadaing so goddamn hard.
No, the sex scene happens after this, dude.
No, it doesn't.
He
is fingering her as he's doing this.
Oh my god. You know what,
bro?
Fine. You talk about it.
Let me check Audacity. I am peeking the mic because of you. You are doing this. You are yada.
I'm trying
so
to
much
give the exposition
plot.
stuff that happens during
I'm
this,
gonna
so
wake
you
up
can
my
talk
cat.
about the sex scene. Okay.
I love the idea of our whole coverage of the sex scene is Nirav just saying, and then they move through the sex scene.
Fine. Oh, okay.
Fucking
I don't know.
virgin
You
Nero can't talk about sex.
All right.
Look, we get so much important plot about Reese while he's dicking down Farah.
That's
like
I'm
the
trying
biggest
to talk about
dicking.
the plot. All right. I watched it for the plot. That's all I can say. Okay. Anyway, you tell me about the plot then. Tell me about the plot, and by the plot I mean the sex. If you watched it,
all right, I'm gonna move my hands further and further apart.
We already
tell me
did
how
this
big
once.
the plot
we
is.
did this so long
how
ago.
big is the plot?
I think she describes it as like impressive girth in this one.
Well, she says impressive length. She uses the word length a lot to describe penis. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, I feel like length has become the de facto term for dick in this book. And I'm trying to think of like, is there a sexier word for penis? And there's not really.
I think she's also trying to be like, make sure this is like acceptable enough to a young adult audience.
Yeah,
like
I can see that.
She's not trying to go into like pornographic descriptions necessarily. But I think Reese is rocking like, I'm going to say 8 inches.
Oh, we're giving numbers. I didn't know that's where you were going with it.
I
I'm not
think,
prepared
like,
to do that.
The average is like 5 to 5.5. So like,
among who? Fairies?
What are we talking about right now?
I think that 8 is probably a length that we're gonna give to Reese, because if it's like 9, that's like not everyone's gonna enjoy that. But it's also vague, so we're like, maybe you can just ascribe your own length. I think we're gonna go with 8.
The reason my face right now. The reason my face is so scrunched up is because I'm trying to ascertain if I can post this on TikTok without us like getting banned from the platform.
You absolutely cannot post this shit on TikTok.
No, I think Reese is 8 inches. I'm gonna go with 8 inches.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna say that he's 4 inches completely flaccid, but then the power begins.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah,
I have not put that much thought into the exact numerical length of Reese's dick. My thoughts about his penis begun and ended with impressive length.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think what is impressive. You know, that's
I actually
like...
didn't, but you know, we don't know what it's like in the fairy realm. We just don't know.
That's the thing. Like in the fairy world, maybe and also Farrah's only seen 2 fairy dicks, so to her. Reese is clearly bigger than Tamlin, but
we know this.
Yeah,
we know this 100%. Tamlin is absolutely like.
I think Tamlin was 6.5, 7, above average, but enough where Reese could beat him.
You put a lot of thought into this. All right.
This is off the cuff, man.
We knew this already, Nirav. We had complaints from Joe in the first book that there weren't enough visual descriptions.
That is true. That has been consistent throughout the series.
This wall is blank, but if I were to turn my camera around, you would see the cork board I have that's diagramming all of the various like body parts of characters.
Okay.
There's strings going everywhere, and it's just all these different descriptions and visuals. There's dicks all over his wall.
Yeah, moving out of this apartment's gonna be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know why you painted them on the wall. Because, like, I thought you could have just hung it up, but you've really, like, decorated.
Artistic
It's funnier
expression.
that way. Yeah.
So,
well, Farrah paints. I had to paint to get into the mindset of Farrah.
That makes sense.
That's good. I appreciate that. Okay. It's also going to be weirder when you hire, because you're hiring a moving company to actually move, and you're not going to move any of that stuff yourself. You're going to stand there and be like, yeah, can you box all that stuff up for me, please? It's really important. And don't mess up the order.
Don't mess up the order? Okay. All right. What do we got
so
here?
Back to the plot that Nira yada yada. So
sorry.
So when Farrah ate the apple,
not a sexual reference.
You're disgusting. I would never stoop that low. But when Farrah ate the Fabane apple, Reese talked about how like the bond went completely dark, and he's like, I thought basically that you died. So he ended up going to the spring court and found out, and he couldn't find her. He also kind of talks about that when he was in the spring court, that Tamlin's sentries have all abandoned him. Half of his people are refusing to appear for the tithe, and Ianthe is kind of MIA, or Ianthe went back to her temple. Jurian is MIA, but presumably back to the King of Highburn. But basically, everything's in disarray. Her mission to destabilize the spring court was a success.
Very well.
And he also reveals that he went to the king, or he went. I think, is it now when he reveals he went to Highburn during sex, or is it?
I think so.
No, that's later.
Are you sure? Because he talks about going to the human
later.
Queens
She finds out
now.
he went to Highburn.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was here then where she first just gets mad at him for going to the spring court, because he's being all coy. He's like, I went somewhere. I'm not going to tell you though.
He goes to the No, he goes he goes to spy on the human queens.
Yeah.
Oh, right, that's what it was.
But he also said
he's en route to the human queens, like flying there when the bond reawakens.
Yeah.
Which is why he was so far away, and which is why he like turned around and came back. And she was mad about that.
Yeah, she's like, you did fucking what? And he's like, oh, come on, are you so mad at me? He's like, yes, I'm fucking pissed. That's insane. What are you doing? He's like, well, I technically wasn't in the castle. I was above the castle. I was in their airspace. She's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, but I'm too horny to really give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, we can deal with this later.
Spring Court airspace.
I think she talks about in the sex scene. I think she talks about his the mountains on his knees again. I can't remember the exact context, but she talks about that as well.
The mountains that he would only kneel for. He wouldn't kneel for anybody except his like court and her.
Yeah,
because again, I was right that as soon as she said that, he was gonna go down on her.
Yes. So I think I think she mentions it in the last book too, but she mentions it in this book as well. Like in this sex scene as well, she talks about the mountains on his knees. And I think also he gets his wings out the entire time during sex, or did he get them out at some point during sex? Because she definitely touches his wings again for him to
I think he takes them out at some point. And then she like kind of like is running her finger up and down them, doing some fun stuff.
Yep.
I do like this addition from Reviews from a Bookworm. Then, quote, then we get another favorite and Reese sex scene filled with them saying "you're mine" to each other over and over again, end quote.
That is,
and that's
true.
that's the entire description of the sex scene in this. If we were grilling Nira for yada-yadaing it, but like that's the entire description of the sex scene in
and our friend at Reviews from a Bookworm, we're on the same page.
No, I was grilling Nira for yada-yadaing actual plot, where he's like, yeah, and then plot happened. I'm like,
I was trying to. I was about to start talking, and then you're like, shut up, you can't talk.
I was curious, based on how brief the description was in the Reviews from Bookworm website, I was actually curious what SparkNotes said about the sex scene. So I brought that up real quick.
Okay.
And here's SparkNotes' entire description of the sex scene. Next, he draws her a bath, and after she bathes, they have sex.
Wow.
Yep. Whole description.
Real question, is AI doing that now? Is that making the SparkNotes now?
That is a question. Speaking of AI, did we look at our Spotify titles from last week?
We didn't yet, but I'll pull them up and we'll do it at the end of the episode.
Wait, has the episode even posted yet?
The season book 3 episode 1 is posted, not the last one we recorded.
Oh, you're right. Episode 2 hasn't posted yet. Episode 2 is the one we were asking. We were trying to trick the AI book titles, and I was curious what it was. Okay.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
We'll have to revisit that next episode. Damn. I guess peek behind the curtain for everyone listening. We're kind of banking a couple episodes at once because we can't record for a few episodes in a row. So
yeah, actually, by the time you're listening to
mid-October.
Yeah, by the time you're listening to this, I think it will be like well into November. So fucking who knows what's happening. Don't look outside the window is my advice.
Yeah, and I apologize for any untimely jokes we may have made. I don't even know.
Yeah, something really horrible could have happened concerning Barney, like in this time period. Like allegations could have surfaced about the character Barney.
Oh, we're gonna get fucking canceled for talking about Barney so much, and yeah. So this is October 12th. If anything happens to Barney after October 12th,
timestamp that.
We are not.
And I didn't do it. I swear to God,
I was here recording a podcast.
I didn't do it. Look, to me, he's already dead. I couldn't have killed him again. He's already fucking dead.
Oh, I thought Joe's "I didn't do that" was more of just an overall general blanket term to any possible thing that could have happened. Joe is saying he didn't do it to anything that happened.
If anything happened,
not even exclusively about Barney.
No, just Barney. I did not do that to Barney.
Dude, we gotta keep moving. It's an hour and 20 minutes. We have so much left. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
We have 3 chapters left.
Yeah, so much fucking happens though. Okay, so
they had sex.
Yes, great, good. And
we had a full detailed discussion about the implications of the mating bond, and you're mad at us for putting out good content. That's what people want us to talk about instead of just.
Genuinely, I think our mating bond discussion is probably gonna get a lot of people being like, thank you for talking about
it.
No,
I agree. I didn't say that was bad. Okay.
You DM'd me saying, "Shut up, you're a dumb idiot. Stop talking about the mating bond."
Nira's gonna quit after this episode.
Okay, but the Barney hasn't left. The sisters haven't left the House of Wind. They're still in there.
I didn't touch Barney. I didn't do shit. All right.
I didn't say you did.
Okay. I didn't kill him.
Joe's DMing me right now with a picture of Barney holding a gun.
I didn't do it. All right.
Okay.
So,
and also, you can't fucking prove shit. All right. You can't fucking prove it.
The sisters are in the House of Wind. So, this is actually great. In Reviews from the Bookworm, Bookworm, the exact thing that she says is, Lucian is being a pissy little bitch with Reese about Farah.
That pretty much wraps it up, actually.
It is, very accurate.
So, Lucian and Reese kind of have a back and forth, but Reese is like, hey, chill out, buddy. Like, this is your warning. I want you to be, like, very, very, like, clear about this. Like, this is your warning I'm giving you, but I want you to look at me in the eyes and understand, like, who I am, what I do, and, like, what I could do to you if you speak to Farah or about Farah like that again.
Well, Lucian didn't even say anything. I think he said something a little bit, but he also, like, he saw Farah and Reese together, and he had a look of, like, disgust on his face. And then Reese gives the most casual...
He says something, like, offhanded, like, out-of-pocket kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just, like, and he's like, yeah, like, he issues this warning. He's like, and if you look at her like that again, I'll disembowel you. And he says it, like, or he says something like that, but he says it so casually,
like nonchalantly,
that Farah even blinks, and like it takes Lucian a second to even realize that it was a threat. Because Reese just says it so just like, hey, if you threaten her again, I'll fucking murder you and strangle you with your own intestines. Like something so brutal, but so casually that Lucian's like taken, and even Farah's like taken aback by it.
Yeah.
So,
and kind of the high level summary of their conversation was definitely one that Lucian needed to hear, not just because it was kind of Reese explaining his side of, look, I was going to let Tamlin marry her. If it was what made her happy, I was going to do that because that's what you're supposed to do. But the second he locked her in that room and that he made her unhappy, I did interrupt that wedding because I wasn't going to let her.
Well, that was before, but the wedding was when she was begging for somebody to come stop this wedding, basically.
And she kind of explained that too, like...
Yeah, Farah even says to Lucian, she's like, I was about to call the wedding off when Reese showed up.
Yeah.
Like, I was about to call it. So, like, Lucian's just getting... Again, we know that Lucian's entire, like, worldview is incorrect and completely flawed by just living with Tamlin, and he's getting a little bit of information on that right now, and Reese and Farah both being like, listen, bitch.
Yeah, and then Reese even says, like, I didn't kidnap her. I didn't, cheat on... I didn't make her cheat on
I did not kidnap her. I did not.
And also, and then he also... It is a conversation that Lucian needs to hear because he had wanted to hear how Reese handled, being in love with... Having a mating bond with somebody who was in love with somebody else. And it is, like, the blunt conversation of, if she was happy... I was willing to let her be happy even though it sucked.
Yep. And then they all fly to the House of Winds. That conversation happened in the townhouse.
Yeah.
And then they all fly to the House of Winds.
Also Azriel goes off on a secret mission, which we'll find out more about later.
Does he?
Yeah. Because he dips out and Farah's like, oh, does he just not want to hang out with Lucian? But then Reese is like, no, he's got like a really important mission he's going on. So he disappears.
Oh, I thought he was at the... Maybe he's at a later dinner, I think.
Yeah, he is. He comes back later.
Okay. Then they all fly to the House of Wind, and then Farah and Lucian finally have like the conversation where Farah gives Lucian the entire story, basically the entire events of the second book through her point of view.
And she Lucian's does not skip on the sex scenes. She really digs into it when she's talking.
Yeah, she really digs into the sex scenes so much that Lucian says, "Okay, I get it. That's why you fell in love with him because of the sex."
She digs into how all
because
the
of his
times
impressive length.
into her.
Yeah.
Lucian's sitting at the table. He's like pulling his hands apart. He's like, "Tell me when to stop."
Further.
No,
further.
Still
further.
So like Farah tells Lucian the entire story, and Lucian's like extremely taken aback, and he says, "I didn't realize I was a vision in the villain in your story," which is an Aaron Burr quote from Hamilton.
Oh, is it?
I don't know. I mean,
Aaron Burr says so much. Like, what?
Aaron Burr says, "Now I'm the villain in your story," which is like the opening of the musical.
Nice.
But she even
that's
includes.
That's my mind first went.
Yeah, she does respond to Lucian that not necessarily he was the villain. She's kind of be like, "Hey, look, you weren't necessarily the villain." She even with the Reese stuff includes that he saved her on Calamai. Like, she really does tell him everything. He is now on a level playing field as far as information here.
And I think at some point, I'm not sure if it's right here or a little bit later, Lucian kind of says to her, he's like, I get it. Like, Like Feyre between, and also we didn't talk about it yet, but when Lucien actually gets to Valaris, Lucien looks out the window and he says like, there's children laughing outside. Like, because Lucian's entire vision of the Night Court his entire life has been the under the mountain Night Court that is full of torture and pain and screaming. And so Lucian's in Valaris seeing people laughing outside.
It's not just that. It's also the fact that, and I forgot about this, which is that Amarantha killed all the children.
In a lot of the other courts. Yeah. Oh yeah, so it's not all the children, but like she sacks a lot of the other courts. So yeah, you're right. It's part of it is the Night Court being a nightmare, but also part of it is like that Valaris is untouched after the war and is like a place of beauty and happiness. And he's just like, how is this place exist?
I also took it as like the Spring Court didn't have, because she said he hadn't heard it in a while. I took that as no other court really had, or that like the Spring Court doesn't really have that either, because Tamlin sucks and he rules it horribly, and that there aren't just children free roaming, just laughing and playing in the streets is also how I took that.
And also, Tamlin lives in a fancy manor away from the people.
Whereas,
and then Lucien comments on this too. He's like, Lucien laughs. He's like, Rhys lives in a townhouse in the city.
Yeah,
like,
that's true. Yeah.
He's living with the people. And then it's like, there's this moment of awe there. And then also when Lucien is up on top of the House of Wind, he's looking out over the city from there. And he's just like, he tells Feyre, he's like, between everything that Feyre tells him and then seeing the city and seeing how everyone is reacting with, like, acting with one another, Lucian's like, I get it. And I think he tells Feyre, he's like, I understand. Like, we were not what you needed. This is what you needed. Like, I get it.
Mm-hmm. He says who could compare.
Yes. Right. He says, he doesn't say what could compare. And like Feyre notes that. He says who could compare.
Yeah.
Specifically.
So I think at this point, and like Lucien has the full story, and like also is, I think he's finally registering, like when he says like who could compare, he finally registers that not just him being like, you know, an antagonist in her story, but like Tamlin is like sort of the villain of her story, right? Like he I think he finally is understanding this. But of course we get to the point we've been waiting for, which is that we are meeting back with Nesta and Elaine. So first we find Nesta, and she's in the library reading. She is, I'm just gonna say, like, unpleasant. I'll
she
leave
sucks.
it at that.
I
hate her a lot.
She is
I really don't.
Not when Feyre walks in, she's just like, "Oh, you're back." It's like, what?
Well, she says, "What are you doing here?"
Oh yeah.
Like,
and then,
dude, she does not care that Feyre is there. And then, like, not only does she say, "What are you doing here?" but Nessa's basically like, "This is all your fault."
Yeah.
Like the fact that Elaine and I are here, and Elaine is, and then Nessa also like yells at Feyre basically. She's like, Elaine hasn't left her room. She hasn't eaten anything. She's not sleeping. She is just a like husk of a person. She is miserable, and this is all your fault, Feyre.
Yeah,
it's really
the only the only positive reaction she really gives is when Feyre reveals that her mission was successful to destabilize the Spring Court. That's the only time Nesta reacts in a way that isn't just being
shitting on her
negative.
Yeah, it's
which kind of reveals Nesta's, I guess, current motivations as far as just this revenge-driven entity.
I don't
blame her.
I think I feel like I keep circling back to, like, every time I've interacted with Nesta, I think I like her less. And
well, I actually liked her a little bit more in the last book for a period of time, because, like,
I mean, when she stood up to the,
even though she was being rude as fuck
and stuff,
she stood up to the queens, and like, she's a person, she cares about Elaine. She stood up to the queens. She's like a person of conviction. She's extremely strong-willed. And like in the context of the last book, I'm like, yeah, I could see like how we kind of like growing on Elaine in a certain way, but then, and like, I don't know, I don't blame Elaine for her anger, right? Like, it's like, but I still don't like being around her.
No, it's, and I don't think it's I don't think her anger at Feyre is justified, and she has all the information. Like, she knows what's happened. Like, it's just so not her fault that this is Feyre's fault that like any of this has happened.
the only I guess Nessa is Farrah is an easy person to blame because they're sisters with Farrah. They've been caught up in all of this. So
yeah, but like, at the same time, like Nesta has spent like the last 3-5 years like shitting on her sister, even though she's the only person who kept them alive, like while they were like out there like in the woods and stuff, and like
I do hope we get some sort of reckoning for that specific thing, that Nesta realizes that she's been a piece of shit to Farrah for their entire lives. I
don't know. Like I feel okay, and then of course we get another note that Cassian is like just wide-eyed staring at Nesta. He's like, I gotta have her. Just drooling over her.
I think Farrah mentions that she's like, Nesta was always very beautiful, but now that Nesta's been made a fairy, she's Farrah's like, she's like takes your breath away how beautiful Nesta is now that she's a fairy, like ethereal. Imagine like Galadriel, like the way that everyone reacts to Galadriel is like, that's Nesta kind of.
Yeah, the way I kind of pictured this with like the fairy beauty is that there is this almost magical property to it, where it is just eventually you can't refine physical features any further, but there is this magical draw that certain fairies have that makes them more beautiful somehow.
And then Farrah talks again about the cauldron and how, I think she talks a little more because we were kind of confused about Nesta becoming from the cauldron, and like how she felt like when she pointed at the King of Hybern, there was like this threatening energy coming off of her, and we're like, why is the King of Hybern so threatened by her? And I think they touch on that a little more, whereas Nesta didn't just become.
Let's talk about that when we get to that conversation with Amryn later.
True. I guess they allude to it briefly here though, where Farrah alludes to like Nesta still has this aura coming off of her, this powerful aura that like Farrah can't place what it is or why she has it, but like that she has some power like lurking underneath Nesta's skin now that like she doesn't know. And I think Farrah asks, when they leave the room, Farrah asks Cassian about it, and Cassian's like, I haven't seen it yet either. Like outside of that day, we haven't seen what that power is, so we still don't know.
Yeah, quick question for just remembering, do anything. Did Nesta or Elaine go in the cauldron first?
Elaine did.
Okay.
Yeah, Elaine went in the cauldron first and like almost died, and then Nesta went in with such fury that she was like, that's when she like that's. I think that's part of the driving factor of why Nesta took from the cauldron is this like fury she had about what happened to Elaine.
Yeah, because to your point, the taking part. Farrah had commented that she could sense that she didn't just get what she was supposed to get. She did take an additional piece of power that she wasn't supposed to be given in the process in the ritual.
Yeah. Like just because Nessa's so strong-willed, she like out-willed the cauldron a little bit. She's somehow, which is interesting.
By just hatred. Like I don't think I'm ever gonna like Nesta, but I think I'm gonna respect that the only thing she likes is hate.
Yes, 100%. And then we also get some back and forth quipping with Cassian and Nesta in the scene where like Cassian's like making light of her reading and kind of walking around and joking with her, almost prodding her a little bit, like clearly trying to flirt with her, and Nesta's like extremely unresponsive to it. But Cassian still is like,
you know, he'll make a joke and then she'll say something awful to him, and he's just like, God, I love you. Like he loves me.
He really is
so
like
much.
He's not even trying to be subtle a little bit.
Yeah. He like every time she like insults him, he just gets a little harder, just visibly. Just he's so into this. He's so into the submissive role. It's just
100%. Like he's definitely going to be the bottom.
He's going to have a collar on and everything by the end of the book.
Cassian is just so powerful and so physically, like no one can be a threat to him, so that having Nessa just talk to him like he's trash, he's like yes
100%. This is a real thing, by the way. This is a real ass thing.
Punish me, mommy.
Yeah. Is Nesta the ultimate Dami mommy? That'll be our poll for this week.
Yeah, she's a leather mommy for sure.
But then
oh, you know what? Actually, I just changed my mind. Adding another casting option for Nesta is the actress who played Lady Dimitrescu in Resident Evil 8. I'm gonna add her to the list.
Is she the big hat lady?
The 9-foot tall vampire lady with giant boobs who towers over and steps on you.
The vampire mommy that the internet was obsessed with back when that game came out.
I love how in the tweet, like, about, there was a tweet from the director of that game before it came out. And it's like, I know you're all wondering, but too afraid to ask. She's 9'6". Just like unprompted. It was so funny. Okay. So we get to see Elaine finally, and we of course hear first that she is not doing well. She barely is, like, sleeping or eating. She basically is just crying over and over. She's just fucking wasting away, and we finally see her, and she is like she's just broken. She's a broken human. You can see that she did not handle this transition very well, and of course I can't blame her like too much considering what happened to her. She's like pale, she is really thin, obviously she's just not eating very much, she is tired, she's like, you get the feeling like she just is, her body is like giving out because she has like kind of lost the will to continue like living for a lot of reasons.
It feels like her immortality is the only thing keeping her alive.
Yeah, I
like
think
if she were
true.
human, she'd be dead by now by how much she's just like not eating or doing anything like that.
I mean,
she's
especially
really comatose in like this depressive state where all she can do is really mutter to herself, I want to go home. I was supposed to be married next week. I want to go home. I was supposed to be married next week. In this like just
it's
cycle.
Pretty sad.
Yeah,
it is. And
it
is really sad to see.
Depressive coma.
And this is a real thing that'll happen, especially with people who are like very sick, chronically sick, like, cancer or whatever, or just very elderly. Like, there does come a time where they just like, you can just like lose the will to live and your body just gives up, and it just happens, right? Like, I 100% agree with you. I think that if she was not immortal, this would have happened already. But
yeah, I hadn't even thought about that, but yeah, that's a really good point. But
here she is. Like,
Feyre talks about how hard this is for her to see, obviously because of her sister, but like also just because of what Elaine's personality is. Like, she comments that Elaine is always so full of life and so of like energy, and she loves her garden, and she's just like is the happiest, sweetest, kindest person. And to see her like drained of all of that is like so, it's like a gut punch to Feyre. And then she comments that like she's always been so good about giving off light, and maybe she says like maybe the reason that all the curtains in Elaine's room are open and the room is filled with light is to try and cast light in all the places of like shadow that she once felt or something like that. I can't remember the exact wording, but it's like pretty rough.
It's rough. It's rough to say the least. So Lucian was supposed to wait out in the waiting room with the magazines and Cassian, and he kind of like pokes his head in the door when they're with Elaine, obviously, even though they told him to wait, and he sees what she has become, and I think he very wisely is like so shocked by it, he just like steps back out, like he doesn't try to approach her or anything, he just is like letting it go.
He looks shaken by it. He clearly recognizes the impact that all of this has had on her, and that's when we get the inkling. That's when I got the inkling of like, okay, we're gonna get this, and kind of what I was referencing earlier. We're gonna get this arc of Lucian's motive. He's gonna learn the positive benefits that Rhys, of having a Rhys role model of, here's how the mating bond should work. I should support this person, not view them as property.
Right.
Yep.
Then I was
just trying to move because we're running kind of long.
Yeah.
So then the next day, basically, the whole gang wants to go see Amren, and she tells Lucian like, "Hey, you can go into the city. You can go into the city. You can hang out at the house. You can do whatever you want, but you cannot go up to see Nesta and Elaine. Leave them alone. Do whatever you want." Just don't bother them at all. And then the whole gang goes to Amren's apartment, where Amren's been poring over this book nonstop over the past few weeks. In like the book of breathings, right? Trying to get as much.
This book is fucking creepy. It just randomly starts talking.
Yes. Yeah. So is it? Do they have two books still, or they only have one of the books?
I think it's bound together now. It's
okay.
Yeah, it's bound.
Oh yeah, so it's the book of breathing, and it just hangs out.
Both halves will talk. Like the weird like psychotic side will talk, and then the weird, like, I can't remember what the two sides are like, but both sides will randomly talk, and it's just.
But yeah, like oh yeah, the book is still here, and then Feyre looks at the book, and the book's like, "Hello, thief."
Yeah.
"Hello, deceiver."
Yeah. "Hello,
What's
great
up?"
deceiver.
And then Amryn basically is just like, why don't you just fucking kill Baron and kill Baron and all the sons and let Lucian take the throne as the Autumn Court? That'd be so much easier. And like, I'm like, she has a point.
Yeah. Yeah, Amryn's approach to problem solving and all of this is very much just the pragmatic, like, hey, I'm a millennial year old, like
multi-dimensional beast that we still don't know anything about.
Yeah, these problems are really small and stupid. Why don't we just obliterate the problems because you're the most powerful group of beings in Prythian? This is really stop. What's with diplomacy? Diplomacy's dumb. Do murder.
Yep, it's great.
As she's sipping, like, constantly just sipping a wine glass of blood the whole time, just like, do murder.
And I think she's also like, she says some I can't remember exactly what she says, but she says some snippy stuff to Moore too. Like, oh no, she says something snippy to Feyre.
She says this Feyre, and then Moore like freaks out, which I think she overreacted a little bit, but
I don't know. I think she said, I can't remember what Amryn says to Feyre, but she says something like pretty rude to Feyre, and Moore's like, don't talk to her like that.
So what it was, and I think that's later in here, but so basically we kind of get to, so like there's that's like I think towards the end of this chapter.
Is it? I thought it was when they were in her house. Like Amryn says something to Feyre.
It's like, it's basically they get to this conversation about like, okay, we have the King of Hybern working with Valahan, Montersand, and Rask. Like, we have little chance against them. We need to get Draken and Miriam, but they're gone because they just fucked off of Cretea. Like, it's abandoned, but there's no sign of a struggle. They just clearly fucked off because they had the artifact that resurrected Miriam after she died in that big battle was an item, was like related to the cauldron, but they still have it. And the cauldron can be used to track that item, so they had to just run with it because if they don't stay on the move, they're going to be tracked and lead to Cretea, so they had to leave. So now they have to go convince all these other territories to not join Hybern. But at the end of the day, with like the wall stuff, what had happened was like, hey, if we have to fix the wall, why not use your sister since they're remade of the cauldron? And that's when Feyre got mad that's when Moore was like, that's stupid, Amryn. And Amryn,
Well, Feyre's like, no, I would never do that. And Amryn's like, fucking grow a pair. Like, just fucking do it. Why are you being so like...
I think she's kind of insinuating like, hey, like, we're at war, so maybe your feelings don't matter much.
No, she says, when she says, I would never, jeopardize my sisters, Amryn says, you sound like Tamlin.
Yeah,
and then Moore's like, you never say that or I'll lock you away. And she's like, yeah, good fucking luck.
I would say like that. I would just say like my response to that would have been like, hey, that was uncalled for. Like, I'll lock you in a prison for 5,000 years.
But Amryn's intentionally trying to like go to Feyre and push her buttons, and she succeeds because Feyre, like, Moore goes to bat, and then Moore and Amryn are like fighting, and Feyre's like, Moore, it's fine. Amryn's right. Like, we're at war. But
also during this, Rhys lets Feyre handle this conflict because he's letting her have her first little, like, not first little, that sounds like diminishing, but he lets her have her high lady moment I get to resolve this conflict now that I have this position of authority, where she ultimately does end up siding with Amryn where she compromises of it. I will talk to them about it. If they want to, do this, they can. I will bring it up to them, but I'm not going to force them to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Also during this whole, but also Feyre
section where they're
but first, also with that too, Rhys had said there is a conflict between Rhys and Feyre where Rhys had said, "Oh yeah, Prythian's not ready to meet Nesta Archeron," and Feyre's like, "She's not a fucking dog," or whatever, like something like that. And now there's this kind of conflict between Rhys and Feyre because Feyre's had these little spats with Rhys before, but now she is his equal. She's a high lady. So now there's this extra element of her correcting him in front of his,
his people,
his court, his people. Yeah. So that I want to reference that. But yeah, Patrick, I guess you were talking about the Hybern motivations and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was saying. Oh, yeah. I was talking about how in general, like, the multiple courts and what they're gonna do. Because like, oh, if all the courts band together and attack Prithian, we're fucked. They're like, we're way outnumbered. And I think Farrah asks, don't you have any allies on the continent? And Reese is like, oh, we do, but they're too far away. So what we're doing instead is we're using Azrael and our spies to plant little bits of information in each of the countries, which is like a little bit of truth mixed with a little bit of lies, to like make the countries all on the continent all turn on each other. So like they're like, hey, this guy's been talking about you behind your back, and like, you what? And like, so all these countries on the continent are gonna fight each other, which like, hey, it sucks that we can't get them as allies, but if they're fighting each other, that means all we have to worry about is Hybern at least.
Right.
And that's the idea, which is a good plan if it actually shakes out that way. And I feel like it kind of has to work out, because if it doesn't, then Prithian's like way outnumbered.
Yeah. For sure.
But yeah, it's a good plan of keeping them all occupied with each other.
Yeah, and that was in Hybern, right? That they were doing that. You said.
Yeah.
No, it was like in the continent.
It was like, each of the continents, or the other countries. Sorry, like, or whatever. We saw.
Yeah, so like Hybern is
including Hybern though. They were.
Well, no. So they tried. I think Reese said that they tried. That was another thing too.
This is going to come up in a second.
Yeah, but see, Reese did go to Hybern, and then this Favor's like, "You did fucking what?" He's like, "Ooh, sorry."
No.
Yeah, so he went to Hybern to try and like to like work among the people and stuff, and kind of like listen to the people and the citizens, and try to like spark up outrage, like maybe people in the country are not a fan of this war because it's like of the economical impact of the war or whatever. Like, try to see if people are really supporting the King of Hybern. But the King of Hybern has, whether intentionally or not, been building up resentment for Prithian for millenniums, basically, like building up.
So we get this like kind of the classic in Hybern. It is kind of what we're also, just to say it, we are seeing now in America, but what we see with a lot of various like fascist or hardcore right-wing movements is this like uber nostalgia for almost a fake nostalgia for a things
time
were so much better before.
It's for nostalgia for a time that never existed.
Yes, it is. Things were so much better before. And a time where they were also enslaving people. A time where we had this power because we were subjugating a group of people.
It's the equivalent of all these white people in America being like, man, things were so much better when we had slaves. Like, okay, well, first off, you weren't alive, so
yeah.
But like, it's the whole the nostalgia for like man, what if only we had slaves again? All of our problems will be solved. And it's like Hybern, who like basically just the King of Hybern, sowing discourse and being like, hey. Like basically, I think he like intentionally is making it so everyone in Hybern is like low on food.
Yes.
Like down on the luck. Like he makes like the whole country is miserable, and then being like, "Hey, we're so miserable now. Remember how we weren't miserable before the war? What was the difference? Slaves.
I think there was an element of again. I think there was an element of Hybern genuinely what is worse off, because of course you would be when you're not economically funded or like propped up by slave labor. Like, you're going to be worse off because you're not subjugating a group of people for cheap and free labor. Like, they are instead of propping up their own economy, they're just doing worse and just are mad about it. And then there's basically this. Once she introduced this, I was like, really? Do we have to have a whole subplot that is very accurate to the current world we live in? I was like, really? Why are we reading this book? I was like, this is so accurate.
Yeah.
Why?
If you look at it too, it's like, it's also exactly what happened back in like the 1920s in Germany, like after World War One. Like, this is the exact shit that the Nazis pulled to come into power, which was like, don't you remember when things were good, when the white people ruled? Don't you remember that? And it was a thing that nobody remembered because it didn't happen, but there genuinely was this slogan that the Nazis used when they were pushing into the Bundestag, which was like, make Germany great again, which I think you might find familiar. That was a real slogan they used, and it's really like the thing that Hybern has been pushing here.
Or like Reagan with Make America Great Again. It's always this far right, just let's push to a nostalgic time that didn't exist. We're going to create a nostalgia for a time that didn't exist. and
tell you that other people who like are being oppressed are the ones oppressing you, essentially. I do think that this book, I just did check, did come out in 2017, so I don't think that is an accident. I do think that there is some like commentary from Sarah in here, probably.
I think it's also just a very classic age-old story, but it is. Yeah. But also they do, because of these motivations, they want to make Prithian as an example for defending the treaty because they took away their human slaves. And that is a large portion of this. I also imagine, I feel like it was mentioned in this, but I feel like there are going to be some courts in Prithian that are going to side with Hybern because they have the same motivations. Like, I imagine the Autumn Court is probably going to side with Hybern. And that's where we're going to get the usurping of the throne that puts Lucian in place at the end of the day. Because I can't see those psychopaths fighting on the good side.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. And I'm still, like, I think it's still a toss-up where Tamlin is going to end up at the end of all this, really. Like, or if he's even part of if even part of this battle. Like, I don't really know. Okay, so, yeah, we gotta keep moving. We're so over time.
We're not. We're still shorter so far than
we still have a whole we still have a whole chapter. We still have another chapter.
Yeah, but less happens in that next chapter.
Okay. Yeah, the next chapter is less happens in that. Basically, the end chapter 16 ends with Rhys saying, and I've sent letters to every High Lord in Prithian, and Fair was like, every High Lord, and Rhys is like every High Lord, and so
Lucian braces twice as hard because he like in Feyre clocks.
Lucian does not know this yet. That's
he doesn't. Okay.
Yeah, just basically.
But when Feyre says like every High Lord with her eyebrows raised, it's like, is she referring to Baron or Tamlin? But the answer is still yes to both of them.
Yeah,
the all-inclusive yes. Yep. But yeah, this is definitely. It seems like they're kind of in a moment of desperation here. Just we don't have a lot of time left. And I think also Rhys just says like we need to assess the playing field. Who's on our side? Who's on our side? We just need to know, and then we can go from there.
It's a really he's holding a G7 summit actually, which is interesting. For all my political science majors out there, like me. No, okay. All right, so we'll continue.
We're over time. We're over time. Sorry, we can't talk about it.
Yeah, you're right. We can't. Okay, so yeah, they decide to have the meeting, and they're gonna have it in 2 weeks. So Feyre sits down and talks to Cassian and about like Nesta and all this stuff about the when she came to the Cauldron. We talked about this a little bit earlier.
So they're on their way flying to dinner. So they're on their way all flying to dinner. Rhys is off too far for anybody to hear. It's just currently Feyre and Cassian like basically able to have an isolated conversation together as they fly.
Yeah, so they're talking about, and she's like, has like Nesta's power like revealed itself at all? Like, because I like we all sensed something when she came out of the Cauldron that had like given her something extra or something like that, and he's like, no, not really. Like, we haven't seen anything. She's basically just been chilling in the library. So yeah, and he also says like, this was weird to me, and I don't know if Cassian has the correct read on this situation, because like Cassian was like, Nesta is mad at me because I didn't protect Elaine from what happened to her, like, when she got dunked in the Cauldron. And I'm like, that's insane. Like, his wings were fucking shredded off his body.
Well, I mean, yes, but, like... But Nesta's mad about a lot of stuff that she should... Like, about a lot of people that is, like, unjustified anger.
Yeah. I just wonder
I think it's more just Cassian feels guilty because in book 2, he makes a specific promise to Nesta. He's like, I won't let anything happen to you guys. Like, I will protect you with my life, is what Cassian says. And technically, he kind of did that. I mean, he did.
That's exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, he tried, and he got his ass beat But Nesta's just blaming everyone around her. I think Cassian feels guilty because he loves her, obviously. He feels guilty about what happened. And Nesta has a lot of anger for everyone around him, and he just feels guilty about that, I think.
Yeah,
whether or not it's true is irrelevant. It's at least driven by his guilt. And I don't know if she feels that way. She could just hate all fairies still and is adapting to this new environment. So
yeah, I will say, like, one thing I appreciated here, which I thought they were going to drop a bomb on us that they didn't, which was like, Cassian is not like, oh, like, I also have developed a mating bond with Nesta or something like that, right? Which does not happen, and I'm glad, because, like, I'm interested to see how this plays out with them now, again, as just another contrast to, like, the whole mating bond thing we talked about earlier, where, like, it seems that he really has fallen in love with her, but there's no magical thing compelling him to do so. So that's
we don't know that. There might be a mating bond that is just that popped into place in the last book that we just don't, that they haven't mentioned yet.
But when that happened with Lucian and Elaine, didn't everybody feel it happen? Like they
no,
could sense
Lucian said out loud, "She's my mate."
Oh, okay. Mm.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And I think the mating bonds, like, kind of being something that's felt or not, is like Farah and Rhys's mating bond snapped into place, and Rhys felt it. Farah didn't feel it because she didn't know yet, and other people around Rhys slowly got wise to it because they know Rhys, they understand him, and they're familiar with him, and they saw the way he was acting. But Farah didn't know, so it's entirely possible that Cassian felt that. I think we alluded to this earlier, that, like, Cassian felt, if there is a mating bond, we don't know if there is, but if there's a mating bond, that he felt that when she was a human, and then if it did snap into place when on Highburn, he was knocked out, so, like, he wouldn't have had a reaction to it. So it could have snapped into place, and he realized it later, and he is now kind of, like, trying to navigate that, and maybe Farah just hasn't noticed it yet, or maybe, like, it's not as strong because they're not acting on it. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. I think I was excited about, like, let's just watch a romance develop without any mating bonds. Let's see what happens. But anyway,
I think Azriel and Mor can be that too, though, right? If Azriel and Mor end up together, they clearly don't have a mating bond. They've known each other for a while.
So I have this weird thing where I don't know. I don't like when, like, all the main characters just kind of neatly pair off like that. Come on.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't want... So Azriel, I think, he's either gonna die or I don't know, but, like, he's been sidelined. He doesn't have any actual dialogue in this book so far. He's just there as a character, which
he doesn't talk much anyways, though. He's always kind of a strong, quiet type.
But I don't know. I feel like I've gotten a vibe in this that he is just sidelined, which I guess is fine because we're introducing so many characters that need to have the spotlight that you can only share that so much. But yeah, I mean, I agree with Nirav. I don't want everybody to just have this happy ending of everybody's with everybody, and yeah,
I don't know. We'll have to see, I guess. But yeah, they get to the dinner, and Elaine still is not present because she won't leave her room. However, Mor is, like, trying to make friends with Nesta. She compliments her dress, and Nesta's just like, "Oh, actually, no, I'm horrible. I hate you."
Because Nesta shows up in this beautiful, like, gorgeous
and she looks
gown,
like more beautiful than ever.
And Moore's like, "Oh my god, I love that dress. I want one like that. Like, Farah,
exactly.
Let's go shopping." And then Nesta looks more up and down one time, and Nesta's like, "Couldn't say the same for you, though. Like, fuck that dress."
Awful.
Dude.
Awful. Why are you like this? Okay. Nesta then just very frankly asks Amren, like, "Why do your eyes glow?" And everyone looks kind of stunned because I think they mentioned, they're like, Amren's like, "Oh, no one ever has ever asked me that, I guess." But it's because of the spell that they couldn't get 100% right. So, like, you can see a little bit of the real me, like, leaking out of this body. In my mind,
crazy.
That's crazy, but also in my mind, it makes me think of how in Pokemon, when Ditto transforms, it, like, can't do the face, so it just looks like a squiggly thing.
But Amber is Ditto confirmed.
Yeah, Amren equal ditto, confirm.
And then Nesta follows that up with, and what is your original form, right? Is that what she says?
Yeah. She says something like that, like what does lurk beneath or whatever.
Yeah, and like at this point, everybody, no one's breathing. At this point.
Yeah, everyone's like really like taken aback that like she's being this forward, and so Amren's like, oh, we're the same.
Oh yeah, she says I don't think she answers the question. She just says no one's ever asked me that either, and Amren's like, we're the same. Like, I think we're... And Nesta's like, we're not the same at all. And Amren's like, no, like, both of us are, like, we're something mysterious contained in a body that can't contain us. And eventually, like, that will be, like, let out on the world.
Yeah, she mentions, like, this eruption, again, of, like how they talked about Amren in the last book of, like, one day the thing inside is going to get out and it is going to leave like an unfathomable path of destruction behind it. So like what happened to Nesta though, like to
this is that? Like, interesting. The wording she used, I listened to it a couple of times. She says she does not reference that the body she is shoved into cannot contain Nesta. She references that in her old life, she's like, you were shoved into a mold you didn't fit into, and now you found this new life. The way she words it specifically, like, Patrick, I know you have a copy of the book through Alexa, but the wording to me didn't read that that the body, like, that the transformation, that she doesn't fit into this new fairy mold. It was a very strange wording. Like, maybe it does mean that, but it almost felt like she didn't fit into her old life, and now she found a new path. Is that, oh yeah, you didn't fit into your old life, you didn't fit into the mold, now you found this new path. So it was very strange. I don't know. I didn't know how to read it.
I still think it's just like also alluding to that Nesta has some strange power bubbling underneath her skin.
Yeah, I still think
is going to.
I think that's true. Sense. I want to know, like, even if we find out what it is later, like, I'd like to know why. Like, what special thing happened when they cauldroned her. But anyway, so. Lucian and Feyre start talking about like the meeting with the High Lords, and he's like, are you going to go there? And Rhys is like, again, like off to this. He's listening, and he's like, I'm going to let like Feyre make this. She's the High Lady. She's going to tell me if she's going to come or not. And she says, yeah, I'm going to come there. And he's like, are you going to hide your powers while you're there? And like you can tell like Rhys is kind of thinking like maybe she should do that, but. She's like, what did she end up saying, though? Did she end up saying, I'm not going to do that?
I can't remember, because, like, at first she was like, it seemed like she was like, oh, I shouldn't have to hide who I am or something. But then Lucian's
they talk about, because Lucian's like, oh, my dad already knows about your powers, but is he going to tell everybody?
No, he doesn't.
Or is he going to keep it to himself? Yeah. Oh, he doesn't. Sorry, the brothers know.
So that's the thing. Eris knows about the power, but they were debating if Eris would keep it secret or not. Because on the one hand, Eris could tell his dad, and like they could then use that against them, or Eris might keep that information to himself so he can then use that for his own gain later. So they don't know which way that's going to go.
And so we kind of close it out there, like leading right up to the meeting.
Lucian and Azriel are actually going to have a conversation, though. So that's actually because of that, Azriel actually is going to Rhys says that Lucian and Azriel should have a conversation about that. So it is this moment too where Lucian is kind of proving his worth a little bit
to the
Night
true.
Court,
that's a good point.
Showing his allegiance a little more, and it's we're getting that glimpse that like this is gonna work. This is gonna
And we forgot, and this is the beginning of the beginning of the scene where everyone shows up, like where Moore is in this beautiful gown showing a bunch of skin, like Nessa's in this beautiful dress, Feyre's in kind of like comfy clothes,
sweatpants, slippers,
like sweatpants. Basically, reaches
she's
in
wearing
like a t-shirt
sweatpants that say
"juicy"
on the butt.
Yeah, like everyone's wearing, and like Lucian's wearing like a really really nice buttoned up coat. Like he dressed super formal, and he's like, and everyone's showing up wearing different clothes. And Lucian's like, "What's the dress code?" And Feyre and Rhys are like, "Whatever you want, baby. Who gives a shit?"
Yeah.
And Lucian once again is so caught off guard by how informal this court is compared to the court that he grew up in, and
just
like
Tamlin.
We're seeing, honestly, like I want to say a slow like winning over of Lucian, but it's kind of rapid.
Sure. It's
honestly.
kind of quick, I think that I think it's because Tamlin has done everything in his power to disenfranchise and disrespect Lucian. Like we talked about this before. We were like, does Lucian like Tamlin? Like, we were like, I don't think he does anyway.
No,
I don't think this was that hard for him to grab onto, like, once he saw what was going on.
Yeah, I think
it's like, so Lucian shows up to the night court, and then like they put his mouth up to the fire hose and turn the whole fire hydrant on, and he's just getting like blasted in the face with like, this is what the night court really is. Are you on board or not?
It's a hazing ritual.
Like, sure.
Yeah, but also even like so there's the head of the table spot that's open, and he it's like the only one left, and he's like, Reese, can I sit here? Like, this is your spot. And Reese is like, yeah, I don't fucking give a shit. Just sit wherever. He's like, I just want to fucking eat, dude. Just sit the goddamn fuck down.
He's like, I just want to eat.
Yeah, and he's like,
sit down.
Okay, but just Lucian is kind of like they adopted a rescue dog that was abused at a previous home. That is 100%
what it's like. Yeah,
and Lucian's 100%. Like, oh, I can get on the furniture. It's like, yeah, I don't give a fucking shit. Just get on the furniture.
A rescue dog from some rich, pompous, shitty family. Yeah. That's now a cool household.
that is actually that's a good analogy. So yeah, we kind of finish off here, and I think that was like pretty much where we get set up for. I'm guessing the next chapter is going to be the meeting,
or maybe not the next one, but like the one after that, maybe like. But I think at least in this next chunk of chapters that we read, we're going to get the meeting.
Oh yeah, it will 100% be. Yeah. Which I'm curious.
Do we think every High Lord is going to show up?
Actually show up? I don't know if I feel like Tamlin will actually show up.
I don't think Tamlin will either, because I think once again we're like, are they going to give us the Tamlin Feyre confrontation this early? And I think no. I think Tamlin, I don't know, unless he does show up because he knows that Feyre's there and he wants to see Feyre. I don't know,
dude. But I just realized Tamlin also now has heard through the grapevine that the High Lady of the Night Court had been undercover the entire time in his court. Tamlin has been cucked so goddamn hard. Like, Tamlin is eviscerated. He has no social standing anymore in the political sphere.
So I don't think he's going to show up out of embarrassment.
Yeah,
like, he's not going to want to show his face with all the other High Lords.
Like, he's the cuck court now, according to Eris. Yeah. Like,
he's been cucked, and additionally, like, his entire court left him. We didn't actually talk about that. We skipped over that. But like, I think Reese or someone tells her,
the Sentinels are gone. Hey, the Sentinels dropped.
You were gone. All the Sentinels left. He's lost his, and like the court, like, and his people are mad at him.
Yeah, half of them don't show up to the tithe.
Yes.
That's what it was too. Like, half of them don't show up to the tithe. Like, the Spring Court has basically fallen, and Feyre was successful in fucking them. Which rules. It's nice that she was effective in her plan.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ianthe's back at her like high priestess temple because she's just. Oh yeah. And Reese is like, was that you with the hand? Yeah. She's like, oh yeah. Did you do that to her hand? And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like.
Well, no. Yeah. Reese says, and I'm assuming her hand was you.
Yeah.
And Feyre says, no. I don't know what you're talking about. She fell.
Yeah. She
fell down the stairs. Jesus Christ!
Oh
dude.
My gosh!
Yeah, and then like Jurian's gone. She murdered the two royals. Like she has completely decimated the Spring Court, which as an ally, but also they were allied with Hybern. So like, did they really even want them? You know, probably not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, they could. Well, also they obviously this is like we give names to people that are important in books. So like. They'll probably come back, but the two Sentinels that she had really befriended, they'll probably be able to.
Braun, they will be back.
They'll probably get the Sentinels to side with the Night Court. They won't get the Spring Court as allies, but the Sentinels will probably become allies of the Night Court. It'll be
that thing where they're standing on the front lines of the war, and Braun and the two guys are there, and they're like, happy to fight by you, Farah.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the whole like, we got the.
What about side by side with a friend? With
a friend, yes, exactly. Like, yes, the exact line.
Yeah.
And then I also think so in the meeting with the High Lords, I think that Baron's gonna be the fucking like pain in the ass lord who's like, and why should we follow you? Like giving those snippy remarks. And then I'm also curious if during the meeting with the High Lords, Eris or Baron drop the knowledge. Like, you want to side with them, and they're going to point a finger at Feyre and be like, she has all of the powers of all the High Lords. Would you really side with her when she has all of your power or something like that? Like, maybe. Are we going to get that bomb drop here?
I feel like more people would be like, oh, that sounds like she's going to win, so maybe I should hang out with her. So...
But, like, I mean, maybe some courts will side with them because of that. But, like, are any other courts as petty as Baron? And, like, maybe Baron's counting on other courts being petty like him.
We know we have Tarquin. We have Tarquin.
I was about to say this. So my prediction for our next bit here is at the meeting, Grand Moff Tarquin Duck will show up, and he's going to be the one who does, like, the I am Spartacus speech, where he gets... Even if it's one or two of the High Lords, like, to be on Feyre's team. Is he going to be like? Is he going to bring up like, oh, we have 3 blood rubies out with their name on it, and he's going to like crush the blood rubies as a show of support or something? I don't know.
Hell yeah!
I think it's like, I have 3 blood rubies out on her, but like, I'm still here. That's how important this is. Something like that, maybe.
Or do you think the blood rubies are going to come back to bite them? Like,
I don't know. They spent too much time making him like a nice guy.
I like to think that Grand Moff Tarquin Duck's going to be like, despite the blood rubies, I'm here. I'm an ally.
Yeah,
if I can do it, so can you.
Yeah.
But sorry, Patrick. I interrupted your theories about Baron and Eris being like petty and trying to convince the other courts.
I mean, I think I kind of basically said it. Like, I'm wondering if they're going to try and use the information of Feyre having the other High Lord's powers. They're going to try and, like, spin it as, like, we shouldn't, like, why should we side with the Night Court when they've been hiding this from us all along? Like, Eris is going to be the absolute fucking heel in this meeting. Eris and Baron, I think.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, too, because we've only met, I think, 4 High Lords, if we count Rhys, Tamlin, Tarquin, and we've briefly met Baron, I think, technically.
When did we meet Baron?
Or like we saw him at Under the Mountain.
We saw all the other all of them under the mountain or briefly. Like, so we only know 3 of them, really.
Yeah, we've characterized Baron. We've met 3 High Lords.
Yeah. Yes.
We have not even characterized.
We know what kind of person
the others.
Baron is. We do know. I think, didn't someone say the Ice King is pretty proud too, or something like that? I'm gonna just call him the Ice King. That's easier for me.
From
we know Helion. We know Helion.
Yeah,
we don't know him, but we know who Helion is.
Helion is another one which I don't think we know a lot about except for the lore we've created for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think there's a bunch of. I think they purposefully, or Sarah's like purposefully left a bunch of wild cards, so we don't know how the meeting is going to swing. Like, so
True.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, this will definitely be
any other predictions.
Yeah, this will be like the moment we get to finally get introduced to the broader politics and everything here. But yeah, I don't have any predictions. I think Patrick, you're right that at least based on what we have, Baron's going to be the biggest heel, or at least if there is a faction of non-Night Court allies, he will be the biggest voice on that faction.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think...
But, like, I don't know. I guess the trick is, how is Rhys going to adequately convince them that Hybern is a threat? Like, what proof? Is Eris going to be like... Is Baron going to be the one who leans back in his chair and be like, what proof do you have? That
yes, 100% he's going to do that. Yeah, so... Okay, nice. Well, let's go and close it out. So, thank you guys for listening. Quick shout-outs to... Parachutes for our theme song, Red Queen. I do have a live video of that song that actually the audio came out pretty good, so I'm going to post that in our socials.
Fun.
From a concert yesterday. So I also want to give a shout out to another podcast, which is Lindsay, my girlfriend, who I've talked about. Her younger brother Nathan has started his own podcast called So My Wife's a Witch, which is a Bewitched deep dive podcast. They're gonna like fucking
what?
Yeah, they're going like really fucking hard, deep diving into every bit of the lore on an episode by episode rewatch of Bewitched.
Hell yeah.
That's crazy. Are they gonna talk about the movie at all?
I don't know. I don't know anything about Bewitched. I just said I would talk about this. So check it on your whatever podcast app it's on there. The first episode is out now, but by the time this show comes out, I think like there'll be 3 or 4 episodes up. So if you're into
Nathan
Bewitched
we
or
don't
curious,
do free press.
everybody gets one. Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets
Disagree.
one. Wow.
No, actually, no. I'm going to take that back. Not everybody gets one. Some people get
Yeah, I was
one.
going to say, wow.
Yeah. So anyway, that was that. But yeah, check that out if you're into Bewitched. And yeah, I guess other than that, do you guys have anything you want to add?
It'd be cool if we had some sort of fun sign off that Nirav could do like a 5-minute build up to at some point.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Like, what would that sign off be like? Nirav, could you? I don't know. What do you think?
Keep on trucking and support your local bookstores. It would be like that.
Keep on trucking.
I don't know.
See
I
you
feel like
guys.
that build up wasn't really sufficient. I don't know. Are we
No,
over
I,
time?
I built
Just
it up
say it,
last
Joe.
episode.
Say
I
keep on
built it up
trucking.
enough for four subsequent episodes. So
Really did.
we can just say it now.
We have to
okay,
edit it.
Yeah, we gotta get out of
Keep
here.
on
See you
trucking.
guys.
Bye.
Maybe she will let you stay good enough if you play the game.